Hello all my beautiful little unicorns, and welcome back to my channel. If this is indeed the very first time that you're on my channel, my name is Vanessa and I, and I would like to welcome you into the fam. So all my beautiful souls of this planet and beyond, in today's pick a card reading, we are going to be figuring out exactly what your love story is going to be. So we are going to be figuring out if there's going to be a happy ending in love for you, who that happy ending is going to be with, and all the in-betweens of your personal love story. And in order to help you figure out exactly what your love story is going to look like, I have prepared 4 groups that you can choose from, and I would like you to pick one of these 4 groups intuitively. So while this video is meant to be very relaxing, reassuring, and supportive for you, it is also highly personalized and super accurate, because first you get to pick one of these 4 groups to receive the first part of your reading, and then you can scroll down into the description box and click your zodiac sign's corresponding timestamp to be fast forwarded to the second part of your reading. And for all of you wondering, this is a timeless pick a card reading video that uses the tropical astrology system. I do recommend that you watch your sun sign, but you can also watch your moon sign, your rising, or your ascendant. It's really up to you. I'm simply bringing you these divine messages so you can make the best use of them. And if you're all about that life and you really love these types of chill and interactive YouTube videos, make sure that you hit that subscribe button in order to never miss another reading that could be helpful and uplifting to you. So the 4 groups that I have prepared for you to choose from first are as follows. Group number 1 corresponds to the Queen of the Moon Oracle deck as well as the Citrine. Group number 2 corresponds to the Beauty of Horror Tarot deck as well as the Cognac Calcite. Group number 3 corresponds to the Angels and Ancestors Oracle deck as well as the Rose Quartz. And group number 4 corresponds to the Pink Pain Tarot deck as well as the Carnelian. But as already mentioned, the timestamps to all 4 groups can be found down below in the description box, as well as the timestamps to each and every zodiac sign's personal reading. So I will now give you a little moment of privacy to meditate on the cards. Feel free to pause the video here for as long as serves you in order to pick one of these 4 groups. So by now you've hopefully made up your mind and you've been able to pick one of these 4 groups. If you're still having difficulties, I have a free PDF that I have created to help you always pick the right group for yourself, as well as know exactly how to cleanse your crystals. So as mentioned, you can find that free PDF down below in the description box. But now let's move into the readings. I will be starting off with the first group, which corresponds to the Queen of the Moon Oracle deck. So if this is the group that you chose, then you can keep watching. And to all of my other lovely groups as well as signs of the zodiac, I will catch you at the click of your timestamp. Hello group number 1, and welcome to your reading about your love story. So you chose the Queen of the Moon Oracle deck in conjunction to the Citrine. Let's first do a close-up of your stone. This is the beautiful Citrine that you chose. This is a stone that helps you attract more material wealth as well as abundance and bring in a little bit more light. But let's move into your reading in order to figure out exactly what your love story is going to be and whether there's going to be a happy ending. So first up, we have the Waning Gibbous 2. So group number 1, in the Waning Gibbous 2, I can see that a lot of your love life is going to be centered around pleasure. So if you're someone who likes to be intimate, if you're someone who is a tease, this explains exactly why. Furthermore, if that isn't a side of you that you have discovered yet, do know here in the Waning Gibbous 2 that you're going to find that more and more of your love life is centered around just being free, just experiencing pleasure, and overall sharing intimate moments with a special person. I can see here in the Waning Crescent 4 that there is a lot of pent-up energy and emotion within you, and you may have been repressing this need for intimacy or this need for pleasure, maybe even for a fairly long time, which is why all of a sudden you're going to feel this urge to release. You're going to feel this urge to get rid of all of that pent up friction within you, that pent up energy. And once you have unleashed, or how should I say, opened up that Pandora's box, it's going to be hard to ever go back to being someone who is more conservative, so to say. I can see here in the waxing crescent 3 that through your growth that you're doing when it comes to your spiritual growth, when it comes to growth in self-love, you're going to find that this is something that helps you focus more on the pleasurable parts of your love story, that helps you focus more on not seeing things as so black and white, and simply just being focused on what feels good, what feels right, and what's fun for you, rather than what's a taboo, what's a social norm, and what do people expect of you. So I definitely see for you, group number 1, that your love life is filled with pleasure. It's filled with letting go of repressed emotion. Next up, we have the World. Wow, group number 1, the World is basically the most positive and favorable card of the tarot. And I do want you to know here in the World, group 1, that this shows that your love life is indeed going to come with a happy ending that could for you mean family, children, a successful business, a monogamous relationship with someone who loves and respects you. I can definitely see here in the World card that we have this deep sense of fulfillment that's rooted in mutual respect and understanding. And in conjunction to the waning gibbous 2 as well as the waning crescent 4, like your romantic life, the private aspect of your relationship, that's on fire too. And that's probably also why you feel so fulfilled in every sense of the matter, because your partner, your lover, is not just going to be someone who feels like a best friend. They're also going to be someone who makes you feel turned on and makes you feel hot and bothered. Oh wow, we have the 2 of Cups. Group number 1, the 2 of Cups is the ultimate love card. I can't make this up. The cards are speaking for themselves. I mean, clearly this tattoo tarot deck is serving you really well. I do want you to know here in the 2 of Cups that this shows that romantic love is definitely a part of your love story. It's definitely going to be something that comes to fruition, and in conjunction to the World, this is exactly what we were talking about, but the universe is kind of reassuring us, confirming through bringing the 2 of Cups into your reading that this is the truth, that this is how things are going to turn out for you. I can see here in the 10 of Wands that your love life, your love story is going to be filled with a lot of work, group number 1. There's no other way to say it, a lot of work, but work could mean, for example, that you have a family with this person, that your love story entails a family and raising children or pets. So that would go without say that it's a lot of work. Just because there is a lot of work present doesn't mean that it's fulfilling, as I can definitely see here in the 10 of Wands in conjunction to the World as well as the 2 of Cups, that a future in your love life awaits you where like every night you go to bed feeling really tired, but tired in a good way. You know, that good type of exhausted when you know you've had a really productive day or you've accomplished a lot. That's what I see here in the 10 of Wands for you, group number 1. That is the future of your love story in particular. Let's move further into your reading. We have the empty room. So I can see here in the empty room that on a very regular basis, giving your family and your lover, your future partner, the partner that you're meant to be with, giving them all of you, giving them every single little thing is what I can see here in the empty room. But this may also lead you to sometimes feel like you're giving too much or like you're depleting yourself. So that's why it's also essential for you to spend enough time taking vacations, little mini breaks, recuperating, and ensuring that you're not so focused on your partner and your romantic relationship that you forget about yourself, or that you kind of have these blurred lines and you're not sure where they end as a person and where you begin, that you just kind of become this eternal we, right? You're going to try to avoid that, group number 1. I can see here in the vow that this comes from this vow that you're going to take, okay, marriage. I can definitely see commitment that's coming for you. And this card, the vow card in conjunction to the 2 of Cups and the World, definitely shows like a fairy tale wedding, a dream wedding, just overall that fulfillment and commitment that you want in order to feel like there is enough stability surrounding your relationship and supporting you. Next, we have the vision. So in the vision, group number 1, you have a vision of what your love life may be like moving forward. And I can definitely see here in the vision that your vision is actually not as good as it's going to be. Reality is going to be better than what you envision. So your love life is going to be better than you've pictured it being in your wildest dreams, group number 1. And this is like such favorable news for me to deliver to you. It just makes me really, really happy for you. And I love seeing your reading come together in this way. I can see here within the Rhodonite that finding a way to forgive anyone who doubted that or who made you feel like this would not be a dream come true. If you, for example, had friends or family members who made remarks about your body or your personality or what you're choosing to do with your life professionally, telling you that you'll never find a partner if you look this way or if you have these habits or if you act in a certain manner, I want you to know here in the Rhodonite that because your love life is turning out to be almost like such a fairy tale, it's easy for you to forgive because it's clear as day that they were wrong. It is beyond clear that anyone who doubted you being successful in love was so in a different area code than where you're going to end up, that it's easy for you to move forward, to move on with life, to forget about them. I can see here in the Appetite that getting out of your comfort zone is something that comes more naturally with your love life being this way because you know you have a partner who you can count on, group number 1. You know you're with someone who you can rely on, who is going to be there for you, and also who is going to tell you the truth, who is going to communicate in a very honest manner and fashion with you. And this is something to be proud of, and this is definitely something that a lot of people are going to feel envious about when looking at your love life. Next up, we have the Black Mulberry. Group 1, I keep thinking your reading can't get any better, but it just keeps like topping the next card with like another cherry on top. We've stacked so many cherries on top of one another, group 1. In the Black Mulberry, we have this feeling of wholeness, this feeling of completion, this feeling of there not being any lack whatsoever. That is what I see your love story ending up in, turning into. So there may, of course, be some bumps on the road. That's completely normal for things not to be perfect right from the start. But do know here that the Black Mulberry also connects to the number 33. Let me show you close up so you can see for yourself. This is a master number, and this is a very powerful number that shows overall collaboration, working together, and making a partnership work. Next up, we have the Cause Lettuce. The Cause Lettuce kind of reminds us of the Waning Gibbous 2 that we started off with, as well as the Waning Crescent 4. This feeling of desire, this feeling of desirability being a part of your relationship always. The Cause Lettuce also corresponds to the number 3, and in the Black Mulberry we had the number 33. So do know here that the number 3 is a number that definitely speaks highly of your love life. So if you continuously see the number 33 or 3 in conjunction to dating, know that this is a very positive sign if you're looking for signs like that, group number 1. And do know here in the Cause Lettuce that your relationship is going to stay flaming hot for a long time, and that is definitely a big ingredient that has been a part of your recipe for success in your love life, group number 1. So I'm really looking forward to how your love life continues to play out. Make sure that you click your zodiac sign. I have it listed down below in the description box as well as pinned to the comment section, because we are now at the end of the first part of your reading. And if you loved this part and you're still here, leave a little globe emoji down below in the comment section to let me and others know. So you have now received the first part, and now don't forget to click the corresponding timestamp that corresponds to your zodiac sign that you would like to watch, and I'll catch you over there. Hello, group number 2, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Beauty of Horror Tarot deck, as well as the Cognac Calcite. Let me show you a quick close-up of the Cognac Calcite. This is the beautiful gemstone that you chose. You may have chosen it because it is, of course, beautiful and aesthetically pleasing, but you may have also felt drawn to it because of its very cleansing and uplifting energy. Either way, let's move into your reading using the Beauty of Horror Tarot deck to begin your love story prediction. First up, we have the Knight of Wands. So in the Knight of Wands, I can definitely see here that your love life is going to entail a lot of energy that's filled with action. Okay, so your love story is going to be filled with you doing things, seeing different places, traveling, and being unafraid to conquer new heights and to step outside of your comfort zone within your love story. So this could be meeting someone in an unconventional way. This could also mean traveling the world with your partner, traveling around the world with your partner, as I do see here in the Emperor, that taking the lead, planning ahead, and making big plans for yourself, following through on them, that is one thing that I can see here that's part of your love story. Furthermore, in the Emperor, I definitely see very alpha type of energy, okay, very masculine energy as well, an energy that isn't afraid to stand out. In the Emperor, I can see strong leadership qualities oozing out of your love life, meaning that either you, your partner, or the relationship in general is one that is filled with energy that isn't afraid to stand up, be authoritative, and lead the way. So booking flights and planning your vacation schedule well in advance, those are all things that are a part of your love story, group number 2. Next up, we have Soul Family. So in Soul Family, I can definitely see here that your partner, who is going to be a part of your love story, is someone who you feel close to because you just relate to one another. You've maybe had very similar types of upbringings or just different situations that you can relate to in very similar ways. Even though you may be very different in many ways, you're also the same in your emotional responses to situations that you've experienced. So that is where Soul Family comes into play, and empathy and compassion, them having a lot of empathy and compassion and understanding you even better because of that. Next up, we have the Sisterhood of the Rose. So it's very clear for you, group number 2, that your love story definitely entails a relationship where you're doing things with one another, where you're going on adventures. And in the Sisterhood of the Rose, I can definitely see here that devotion is a part of your love story, being devoted to one another, being devoted to a bigger cause as well. So it wouldn't surprise me if your love story isn't just about your love for the one another and the other person, but also for your love. It's also about your love for philanthropy, or your love for spending time with animals, with children, and giving back to your community. See here in the star seed that your love story definitely entails a feeling of coming home. So while planet Earth may sometimes feel so far removed from what is home to you, I can definitely see in the star seed in conjunction to the Emperor that your love story entails someone who you feel like you're away from home with. So it's at least like you have a companion. It's almost like you're two extraterrestrial beings, two beings that are from a distant planet or cosmos, and you're here on Earth together, kind of lost, figuring things out, and you're able to go on all of these fabulous adventures as a couple, as a pair. I can see here in Get Grounded that you are meant to be with an empath. Your love story is one that is surrounding highly sensitive people. So you may be an HSP, a highly sensitive person. You may be someone who feels very grounded and connected in nature. And I can definitely see here that your love life contains another empath. And this is a really great connection. Literally, one of the most toxic connections would be if you were the empath and your partner or your love story would surround and evolve around a narcissist. That's definitely something that you would want to avoid at all costs. Even if you're dating right now, group number 2, and you're with someone who you feel may be narcissistic, it's not a good place for you, as I can definitely see here that to feel centered and grounded and to really reach your highest potential in life, you need to be with a fellow empath, with someone who is compassionate and understanding. Next, we have the crone. So in the crone, group number 2, I do see here that having this egocentric side is definitely something that you both avoid. I can definitely see that you both would like to lead a comfortable life. Of course, you and the partner who your love story revolves around, but I can definitely also see here in the crone that your integrity is very important, as well as keeping your word on all of the promises that you're making to yourself and to other people. If you say you're going to do something good for the planet, you're going to put that above all, even above financial gain. That is something that goes without say. I can see here in the vision that you have a strong vision for your love life. You have a strong vision for your love story. And I want you to ensure that it's not limited by material aspects, because I definitely see that material things can sometimes be a bit of a point of contention or struggle in your love story. I can see here within the sword that you're definitely the person who thinks a little more before they spend, or you think a little more before you invest in something. And in the sword, I definitely also receive the message that that is where you both have different outlooks, and where one person in the love story has to be kind of the one who tempers the other, while the other person is a bit more adventurous, a bit more out there, a bit more impulsive, but then thanks the other person in the relationship for holding them back, for making silly decisions. And I can definitely see here that you're the one who is rooted a bit more in logic and rooted a bit more in thinking things through. Next, we have the sunstone. So group number 2 in the sunstone, I can see that your love story is all about taking pleasure in every single moment. You both know that life is too short, and you may really feel that after a traumatic event. And with traumatic event, I mean losing someone and not being able to be with another person. And this is something that you both can bond over as you're doing your trips, as you're planning to travel with one another and see different cultures and places. And your motto is that you only have one life and you're going to live it to its fullest. And this is definitely an amazing way for your love story to unfold, because having a love story that isn't just about, you know, being intimate, being together, doing the whole Netflix and chill, but actually experiencing things with one another, actually seeing the world together, that is just so much deeper than what a lot of relationships or a lot of people are enjoying. So this is a very special scenario, group 2. I can see here within the pyrite that letting the money flow in is something that comes way more easily when you take pleasure in the things that you do, and when you live as though this is like your last day or your last moment. And it may seem very like counterintuitive, because you may feel like, well, if I'm living like this is my last moment, I'm just going to spend everything without thinking twice. But do know here, group number 2, that the more you focus just on what feels amazing and what parts of your career and your journey you can thrive in, the easier it is for you to attract material abundance, because you're in your lane, you're doing what's authentic, and other people love that and will see that and will flock towards that. Next, we have the Carnelian. So in the Carnelian, I can see that your love story is going to definitely feed your creativity. It's definitely going to make you feel like you can be your highest self when it comes to creating things, inventing, and starting new hobbies, starting new things such as business ventures, as the person you're with is going to be supportive and is going to let you feed your creativity in an unhinged way, as you are the one who is more in charge of the finances anyways. So it's like them supporting you to try something new business-wise is not really a surprise because they're highly adventurous. So if you're more of an introvert, I definitely want you to understand that your love story entails someone who is far more extroverted than you, who is going to bring you out of your shell. Next, we have the Waxing Crescent 2. So group 2, in the Waxing Crescent 2, I can see here that they have this deep acceptance for human beings. That's what your love story is going to be laced with, so to say. I was talking to you in Get Grounded about how you are best together with an empath. It's so important for you to reject anyone who isn't compassionate or empathetic or emotionally intelligent in order to preserve your happiness, in order to preserve your mental and spiritual well-being. So I do see here in the Waxing Crescent 2 that your love story is all about becoming more accepting towards one another, but also as a couple, as a unit, being more accepting towards people outside of the relationship and embracing them. I do see here, last but not least, in the Snow Moon group 2, that your love story is based on purity. It's based on pure love. There are no games that are being played. There is no malicious intent. There is no one who is just trying to be physical with the other person and then just leave them somewhere, in the dust. That's not it at all. I can definitely see here in the Snow Moon that your love story is meant to be transparent. All cards are on the table. No one's playing any games, ghosting anyone, or being insincere. That is one thing that I can see here that is a part of your love story, and anything that doesn't align with that is not meant for you, group 2. Keep that in mind. So you've made it to the end of the first part of your reading. Leave a little sun emoji down below in the comment section to let me and others know that you made it to the end and that you chose this group. Now scroll down into the description box or into the comment section where I have the timestamps provided for each and every zodiac sign, so you can add on to this reading by clicking your zodiac sign and receiving a highly personalized part 2 to your love story. So I'll catch you over during your zodiac signs prediction. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your reading about your love story. So you chose the Angels and Ancestors Oracle cards in conjunction to the Rose Quartz. So let's first do a close-up of this stone. You may have chosen this crystal because, well, it's absolutely beautiful, or you may have intuitively felt drawn to it because this is in fact the stone of love as well as friendship. So if you knew that, group number 3, that may have been the reason why you chose this stone. Either way, let's get into your reading to figure out exactly what your love story is going to look like. First and foremost, we have the Heart Guardian. So group number 3 in the Heart Guardian, I can definitely see here that loving and letting yourself be loved is something that goes hand in hand. As soon as you learn to love yourself on a deep and conscious level, you will be able to allow others to love you. You will be able to allow others to love every inch of your body and express that without feeling like it's cringy, without feeling like it's too much, or like maybe you don't deserve the attention. So if you've ever felt uncomfortable when someone else is doing something for you, group number 3, know that you most likely still have a little bit of work to do loving yourself and understanding your worth, your value, and that you are so allowed to have expectations and standards for yourself. So that is one thing that I can see here in the Heart Guardian is an important part of your love story. Next, we have Autumn. So in Autumn, you are being called to release the old about what you believed to be true about yourself, group number 3, the stories that you may have told yourself about who you are and what you're worthy of, and just rest, okay? Release any type of notion that's keeping you from experiencing love coming from others, and just ease into living without that fear of not being enough. Ease into living without the fear of someone loving you or someone giving you so much of themselves and not being able to provide them with something equally valuable or with something that they would be happy with, which implies that you're lacking, right? If you think that way, it implies, group number 3, that you feel like you could not possibly give someone what they're able to give you. It implies that you feel like maybe they somehow are higher up on the pedestal. So that is where I can definitely see here in autumn that releasing any of that must be a part of your love story. In the shapeshifter, I can see here that transforming and unveiling your gifts is something that you'll feel comfortable to do sooner rather than later in your love story, when you let yourself be loved, okay? So not feeling like you're authentic is definitely something that I can see is going to follow you in your love story until you can fully let others love you without questioning whether, you know, you're giving them enough love in return or whether you even have something valuable enough to offer them in return. Group 3, your love and your heart is so invaluable, and never question whether you're giving someone enough if you're giving them your sincere love, okay? That is so invaluable, and it is so valid for you to understand that your love is just as worthy as anyone else's. So I can definitely see here in the shapeshifter that you will feel like you can't 100% be yourself until you get comfortable in that truth. Next up, we have the Knight. So in the Knight, group number 3, I can see that your love story is going to be with someone who is very brave, someone who is very honest, and that is why you will even be able to settle into the space of releasing these old stories that you've been telling yourself about who you are or how worthy that you are, and be able to finally be loved and unveil your gifts, because you thrive off of being with someone who's honest and being with someone who is brave. That is like the only type of presence, the only type of person that you feel comfortable around. Anyone who you feel is kind of shady or who you feel is maybe not being quite as honest as they could be, and this could be because they are maybe texting other people or in contact with other people, and it is essential for you to know your worth and your value and to understand that that is not the type of person that you're meant to be with. Some people are okay with that. Some people are also fine with open relationships, but group number 3, I definitely see that for you, that would be undervaluing your time, your love, and your effort that you put into committing in a relationship. Next up, we have the Bloodstone. So group 3 in the Bloodstone, getting moving. That's one thing that I can see that's happening in your love story. I can see that your love story has a lot of energy of bringing the new in and keeping it moving. So bringing in a lover that just keeps things running, that keeps things interesting, where you're constantly planning your next excursion, your next road trip, your next transatlantic flight, your next business model. Seriously, I can see here in the Bloodstone that keeping the blood flowing and pumping in the relationship is something that happens so effortlessly in your love story. In the Black Kyanite, I can see that you set strong boundaries when it comes to other people. That's what your love story is all about. And maybe because you have some nosy family members, or your future partner has some very nosy family members where they're constantly trying to butt in on your relationship, or they're constantly trying to kind of give their 2 cents that nobody asked for, constantly bring their opinion into your relationship. So I can see here in the Black Kyanite that you're like a unified front, and you're not okay with that. You're definitely blocking them off, and you're definitely setting those strong boundaries for yourself and your relationship, group number 3. So I'm really proud of that when it comes to your love story and what's unfolding before our eyes here in your reading. Next, we have the hammock. So a group 3 in the hammock, one thing that I can see here is taking a vacation. Taking vacations and traveling is something that I just mentioned to you. That's a part of your love story. So do know here that physically and mentally relaxing and being one another's safe space is a part of your love story. In the boat, I can see that there will be money or property through inheritance, winning, or windfall. That's a part of your love story. So you may marry someone who is very affluent, just overall fall into a lot of money, property, just something that is valuable, something that can create more affluence, more money for you in the future, and that isn't a liability. That is one thing that I can see in the boat. It's like you have docked on one shore, but you're going to sail over to a completely different area because your love story is going to entail a lot of changes for you on a material level. I can see here within the handshake group number 3 that this meeting that you're going to have with a stranger, you don't know it yet. They are still a stranger to you, but I want you to know here that your love story is going to take place with someone who starts off as a complete stranger. So this is not someone who you know through a friend or an acquaintance. This is not someone who you went to school with. I can definitely see here that your love story is meant to play out with someone who is completely new to you, with someone who has their own life, their own background, their own kind of history, and you just need to take their word as truth. And that's why honesty is so important, being brave and being honest. Next, we have the potato. So group 3 in potato or potato, however you like to pronounce it. I definitely see here that this person is the safe space that you need to make you feel grounded and to make you feel like you finally have someone that you can count on. Not being grounded and feeling really anxious and feeling like you have issues, control issues, attachment issues, could come from childhood trauma where you never felt like you were safe and you never felt like your needs were met or put first. So finally in your love story, that's going to be the case, and it may feel weird. It may be, again, like in the Heart Guardian where we spoke about you struggling to let yourself be loved. Next, we have the peppermint. So your love story is going to be a success without a doubt, group number 3. And your love story being a success is, of course, not only an amazing thing to receive within your reading to give you reassurance, but it also allows you to kind of understand that also setting boundaries is important in order to keep this love story successful, especially with this money or property that's coming in through inheritance, winning, or this windfall. You have to set boundaries because some people are going to try to leech off of that, to mooch off of that, and to get some of this earthly abundance and financial abundance that's coming towards you in your love story that really has nothing to do with them and isn't theirs to take. Next, we have the time. So group 3, you're going to be very courageous and say no. I can definitely see that. We have a little sword here, which just also shows furthermore that there is some air sign energy at play where you're being smart, you're mentally like preparing yourself to say no, and you're unafraid or becoming more unafraid to let people down that you know are trying to cross over boundaries or overstep their boundaries. I can see here in the black mulberry group number 3 that your love story is one of wholeness, success, and financial and earthly prosperity. So group 3, like you are marrying well, you're going to be in a relationship that is affluent in the earthly realms, but also one that feels safe energetically and romantically. So think a partner who has maybe had a tough upbringing where there were financial means, but they just never got the attention or the love that they really desired, craved, or could have thrived on. But you supporting one another is something that will allow the two of you to remother yourselves or give yourselves that paternal love that was missing, so you no longer crave approval from parents who clearly are not capable of that. And I'm not saying that in a shady way, like some parents just really are not capable of being parents. Group number 3, this is the reading that I received for you for your part 1, and I really hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Leave a little boat emoji down below in the comment section to let me and others know that this is the first part that you received. Now head down into the description box and click your corresponding zodiac sign, and then you will be fast forwarded to it so you can receive your highly personalized part 2. So I'll catch you over there. Hello group 4, and welcome to your reading about your love story. So you chose the Pink Pain Tarot deck as well as the Carnelian. Let me show you a close-up of this little baby Carnelian. This is what it looks like. It is so cute and beautiful. This is a very powerful stone, which may be exactly why you chose it. But let's get into your reading so we can figure out what your love story is going to be, whether there will be a happy ending, and overall all the nitty-gritty details. Let's move straight into it. In the star, I can definitely see that we're starting off on a very positive note. Your love story is going to be not only filled with hope, but also positive results. The star is definitely a favorable card of the tarot deck, and it is one that turns any difficult or challenging cards in a reading into more positive ones. Okay, so this is overall a card that helps uplift the entire mood. So group 4, you may be someone who is very positive, who is almost too positive for their own good, and who likes to see the bright side of things and make the best of situations, which may be exactly why the star showed up first within your reading. That shows that your love story is going to benefit from this quality. Next, we have Justice. So group 4, I do see here that within your love story, one thing that's very important to you is your integrity, and you're not going to undermine that or ignore your moral compass for anyone. So I see very strong energy, and I see that this is something that not everyone is able to handle. Next, we have the Six of Pills. So in the Six of Pills, I do also see here that your love story entails some sort of growth in your family. So there being a growth as in you having children, adopting living beings into your love story, and definitely being someone who's very nurturing and caring and ensures that they make time for others. Next, we have the Magician. So in the Magician, I can see here that you're going to do it all, group number 4. You're going to be that person who is strong in their career, okay, who's a boss there, who is also a great partner, a great father, a great mother, just overall a great caretaker, whether that is for a human child or a 4-legged creature, a 6 or 8-legged creature, whatever floats your boat. You get the picture, group number 4. I can definitely see here in the Magician that you are the type of person where others ask themselves, how do they do it? How are they able to maintain such a love life? How are they able to maintain a great relationship while at the same time having so much going on in other areas of their life? I can see here within the Hanged Man that right now you're maybe still in a place of complacency where you feel like things aren't really moving as quickly as they could or aren't progressing as quickly as you would like them to. But I can definitely see here within the Hanged Man that you're the type of person who is like silent but deadly, who is slow and steady until they're not slow and steady, and they like overlap people multiple times in a race. So you are definitely someone who others sometimes overlook or take for granted until, like I said, you overlap them in the race, and it's undeniable that you were made for this. It's undeniable that you were made to win, to thrive, and for your positive outlook to always, always, always be a supporting act, a supporting role in your life, and to just overall help you thrive, help your relationships thrive. I can see here in the Tank card that there will be lots to celebrate along your journey, along your love story, group number 4. Celebration, fun, and enjoyment. These are all things that are awesome to show up. A lot of people's love stories can be laced with hardships or arguments, disagreements, but I can definitely see here that you're the type who doesn't really like confrontation that is very negative, or just confrontation period. So I can definitely see in the 10 card that you focus more on positivity. I can see here in the teapot that there's a deep friendship with someone of the same sex. So this might be part of your romantic relationship. Group number 4, you know that this channel is one that is open for everyone. But I do also want you to know here in the teapot that this is also a card that shows that a deep friendship is something that accompanies your love story. You're never going to leave all of your friends behind or forget about them just because you're in a relationship. Yes, you might have a honeymoon phase and a phase where you're infatuated with your partner, but you're definitely never going to take for granted the people who were there for you while you were single. That is one thing that I see in the teapot. Very loyal and very caring energy. That's what I see along your love story journey. In the dog, I can see protection from a powerful friend always being there. So a friend of yours is definitely going to be skeptical when it comes to anyone who comes near you in love. I can see that your friends, your family, they want to protect you, almost like this dog, this protection dog that we have show up within your reading. So your love story is one that isn't just involving you. Your love story involves everyone who you care about and everyone who is close to you. They will all try to ensure that justice is something that is a part of your love life, that you're treated fairly, and that they show up for you. They show that you have people who have your back. So anyone who isn't healthy or anyone who wants to take your kindness for weakness, beware. That's the type of message that they're trying to send. I can see here in the bird that's perched that waiting for news, a package, or a letter is something that accompanies your love life in the sense of being really excited, okay, celebrating every message, every little bit of exchange that you have with your future partner in your love life, and overall just being the person who kind of plays it cool. That's one thing that I see in the Hanged Man, as well as justice. You know your worth and your value, group number 4, and sticking to your guns and not compromising that. This is something that serves you. And by playing it cool, I mean you kind of laying back and letting them pursue you. Letting yourself be the one who gets pursued in love. That is one thing that I can see here that is important, because it will show commitment on the other person's side, and it will show that they truly care. And if someone ghosts you, or if someone just doesn't text you at all, and you would have to be the one texting them more frequently than they text you, you know that they're not into you to the extent that they really should be in order for them to be part of your love story. Next we have the Shungite. Okay, so negative or toxic people are a thing of the past. Group number 4, they are not a part of your love story. I can see that when it comes to detoxing your life and detoxing love, you take that very seriously. Next in the Labradorite, I do also see that seeing the magic and just overall not feeling as though all that glitters is gold is a big part of your love life as well. You're not going to be with someone who is very obviously attractive or obviously like a high caliber man or woman. You're going to be with someone who is very low key and who only opens up to certain people, to a handful of people. They're not a flashy type of person. I can see here in the blue lace agate that this is something that keeps the relationship very calm and steady. I see that your love story is meant to be one that is drama-free. We already spoke about your disdain, your dislike for confrontation earlier within your reading, group 4, and I see this just being a characteristic that follows us throughout your love story. Overall, being in a very calm, non-toxic, non-dramatic relationship is something that I see here for your love story. It is inevitably the love story that is yours, group number 4. Next we have the ocean. So a relationship with depth, a love story with depth, a love story that is a reflection of who you are, a reflection of your morals, your values, and your integrity. I see that in conjunction to the Justice card as well as the Six of Pills. And at the same time, a relationship where you can grow together, where you can thrive, and where you can have those deep and important, difficult at times conversations. In the Mountain, I do want you to know here that the foundation of your relationship is going to be unshakable. So no matter what happens, I can see that your love story is going to always entail a special someone who is there for you, even if you take some time apart, or if you need a break, or if you get on one another's nerves. You know that if anything happens, you can call them anytime, any day, during any circumstance, during any situation, and they will leave everything, they will drop everything and come to your rescue, come to help you out or support you. And I can see here within Thanatos that there is definitely an ending that's nearing in your love story, group number 4, an ending to a relationship that isn't like that, because I can definitely see that people who are not committed to you are going to feel very insecure because of that. I can see that here in the Shungite and in conjunction to the star. Because you're someone who is positive, very open-minded, you definitely repel some toxic people, and that's a good thing, group number 4. In the Vision, I do want you to know here that wisdom is something, and foresight that accompanies your love story. And this type of foresight is definitely one thing that lets you plan ahead. Okay, so family planning is a big one, as well as understanding financially what you're able to do, whether that's, for example, purchase a home or travel, do something that is rather expensive or luxurious. I definitely want you to know here in the Vision that saving and planning ahead is something that you're able to team up with your partner with. Last up in the Destroyer, let's zoom in for you here, group number 4. There we go. In the Destroyer, I do want you to understand that your love story is going to have to start on a completely fresh slate before you can grow, before you can build. That's one thing that I see in the Mountain. So group 4, if there are any situationships in your life right now where you feel like it's not drama free, okay, where you know that the person isn't the one, you just understand that they're not a part of your love story, do know that there will be destruction in Thanatos. There will be this ending that we're speaking of that is inevitable, of course, for you to find the one. So group 4, never be sad when someone who you feel isn't a true friend or isn't your soulmate or your twin flame leaves your life. If you're really honest with yourself, you are able to answer that question for yourself. And if that happens, when someone leaves your life who isn't a soulmate or a twin flame, you should celebrate that, okay? Remember here in the Tink card, like, celebrate, have fun, enjoy that, because that means that you are now actually available on the market for your soulmate, for your twin flame. You are a step closer to a love story, well, to the part of your love story that is sweet, that is bountiful, that is calm, and that is drama-free. Of course, the ups and the downs are part of your love story, but the more quickly you move away from the people who aren't playing an integral and positive part of your love story, the more probable the chances of you actually ending up with the people who are positive forces in your love story, who are main characters. So group 4, we're at the end of the first part of your reading. Leave a little star emoji down below in the comment section to let me and others know that you were here and that this is the part 1 that you chose. Furthermore, your zodiac sign is linked in the description box, ready for you to receive the second part of your love story reading. So click that, and I'll catch you over during your zodiac sign's love story prediction. Hello, all my beautiful Aries babies, and welcome to your sign's love story. So let's move straight into it, shall we? I also have some charms prepared that we can use throughout your reading to figure out more about your love story that is specific to your sign. So let's start off with the first field, which corresponds to the Three of Wands for you. So the Suit of Wands is the suit of fire because the Suit of Wands corresponds to the element of fire. So this is one that connects with you really well, all my beautiful Aries, because you are a fire sign who is adventurous, who is courageous, pioneering, and very quick-witted. So in the Three of Wands, I can see here that your love life definitely benefits from that, and your love story is one that's going to be right on beat with everything that you love to do, with the way that you love to express yourself, and also with your enthusiasm and confidence that you have that a lot of other signs truly actually lack. Let's move further into your reading. We have the Five of Swords. So for the second field, we have some potential obstacles that may be in your way. So I want you to know here for the Five of Swords that obstacles that may be in your way are your daredevil side, are the side of you that can be very impulsive and impatient. That is one thing that I do see here in the Five of Swords that may inhibit your love story from playing out as fabulously as it could. So become aware of that, all my beautiful Aries babies. We're not just here to speak about all of the things that everyone wants to hear. You know that I'm very straightforward and honest with you, and I'll tell you exactly what it is that I'm seeing and receiving within the cards for you. But furthermore, moving into your reading, let's figure out what else we can see here about your love story. I can see here in the Ten of Cups that your love story is going to ultimately end in fulfillment and ultimately end in happiness. The Ten of Cups is a card that shows just that. The Suit of Cups corresponds to the element of water, and the Ten of Cups shows completion on an emotional level, which is exactly what the Suit of Cups speaks of: your emotions, your inner life, what you're going through on a basis of feelings of love. So I can definitely see here that the Ten of Cups shows an amazing culmination for you, all my beautiful Aries babies, in your love life, regardless of the ups and downs that you may experience. Let's move further into your reading. The fourth field corresponds to some natural advantages that you have. Let's see what those are. We have the third house. In the third house, I can see here that what you have as a natural advantage is your potential to learn something and your potential to be that person who brings new knowledge, not just to themselves, but also to the people surrounding them. So you're great at sharing. You're someone who is very much like energetic and dynamic, and people really, really love that within you, all my beautiful Aries babies. So let's move further into your reading. Number 5 corresponds to your wake-up call or your divine intervention. I can see here in the Libra that your love story is most likely going to play out with someone who has strong Libra placements within their birth chart. Now the Libra, this is an air sign. This is someone who is diplomatic, gracious, who seeks harmony and balance in their relationships. So they are a very non-toxic partner to you. They are a partner who can deal with your impulsiveness, can deal with you being someone who's very witty and very quick, and overall isn't afraid to be honest with you. Let's move on to the sixth field with a few charms. We have changes coming your way reflected in the sixth field. And for those changes, we have this salamander type gecko being here. Okay, I hope you can see. Yeah, we have a starfish as well as the horse. So I can definitely see here within the starfish that there is a sign of some changes coming your way, meaning that Your love story is one where you're in alignment with your values. Your love story is one that definitely shows that you and your partner are pushing towards the same direction. I can see here within this gecko, salamander, as well as the horse, that there are parts of you that definitely can't be tamed and never will be tamed. And this is something that your relationship learns to embrace, and that's part of your love story. You're not with someone who has control issues or who is going to try to make you act a certain way or make you check in with them all the time. I can definitely see that they respect your boundaries and how freedom loving that you can be. So when it comes to letters, we have W as well as B. So I truly hope that this gives you a little bit more insight, all my beautiful Aries. But let's move further into your reading. The 7th field speaks of potential opportunities. I can see here in the Sage that a big opportunity for your love story is devotion and commitment. So marriage, or just overall being in a partnership where you're committed and where you maybe have something symbolic of that commitment. It could be, for example, a ring, right? It could be signing papers. It's not always possible everywhere for everyone to do that. So your sense of commitment could just be doing vows before each other, writing a poem for one another about how you feel, and maybe living in a home that is joint, that is yours, that you're living in together. Next up, for the 8th field, we have some new connections. I can see here in the Lady that your love story is going to be filled with growth, as well as reaping the rewards of that growth. So I definitely want you to know here in the Lady that you enjoying growth and reaping the reward of that growth is something that you're doing alongside a partner, is something that you're doing during your love story, all my beautiful Aries, and it's going to bring you closer together because you can exchange ways in which you're growing. You can exchange different thoughts that are arising, and you're not judging one another. Quite the contrary, you understand that in order to thrive as a couple, you need to learn to grow together. Next, we have the Stargazer. So in the Stargazer, I do want you to know here that I can see that setting your sights higher, this is like a new focal point, right? Because the 9th field on my divine guidance board stands for new focal points. So these are new goals that you're going to have in your love story, during your love story. So your new goals are going to be all about setting your sights and your expectations for yourself higher, not underestimating yourself, and also understanding that the goals that you've set up until this point may have been really small, my beautiful Aries, okay? Maybe you've wildly underestimated yourself. So that is where I can see here in the Stargazer that setting your sights higher comes into place, and your partner encouraging you. Next up in the 10th field is the outcome of your love journey, right? Of your love story. I can see here in the Moon that the outcome for you is definitely going to be that taking note of intuitive messages is always best. Taking note of how you intuitively feel and implementing that, not being afraid to use your intuition as an indication for what's healthy and what isn't, and what direction you want to move into along the journey of your love story, and what paths you would rather avoid. So all of my beautiful Aries babies, this is your zodiac signs love story reading part that I received. I truly hope that you found it insightful and that it hit home for you. Make sure that you leave a little apple emoji down below in the comment section to let me and everyone else know that you're an Aries and you were here. Thank you for sharing this divine time and space with me, and I'll catch you during one of my upcoming videos. Hello, all my beautiful Taurus babies, and welcome to your zodiac signs love story prediction. Are you ready to move into this? I sure am. So we'll be starting off with the first field, which corresponds to current opportunities for your love life, and will give us an indication of what's coming in your love story. So first up, we have the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune does show that when it comes to your love story, things that have been set in motion are going to continue onwards. So if you feel like you are on a really great path to self-love and self-growth, know that that is going to reach a climax. The same goes for if you truly feel like you're close to a soulmate or a twin flame. I can see here in the Wheel of Fortune that every cycle is going to be completed and fulfilled before you move on to the next. So definitely be aware of what you set in motion, and know that you have the power, all my beautiful Taurus babies, to set things that you desire into motion and to see them through. You are a very warm-hearted and loving sign, and it's important that you remind yourself that you can set new things into motion even if you've never experienced them before, and that your love story is one that will most likely surprise you, as it will be way different than what you expected for it to be. I can see here in the Eight of Wands that really rapid movement is something that some of my beautiful, well, a lot of my beautiful Taurus babies may struggle with. You can be a very inflexible sign, as you're someone who is a creature of habit. You love the things that you know, and you invest in things that you know will work. But I can definitely see here that when it comes to new things, you can be a little bit apprehensive. The same goes for new lovers, is what I meant to say. And therefore, it is very important for you to be patient with new situations and to not judge them before you have truly seen what the outcome is, as we spoke about here in the Wheel of Fortune. So do know here that your love story is going to surprise you in the best way, but you have to give it a chance. If not, those surprises will never be able to come or make it into your life. Next, we have the Star, which is a really favorable card. And despite what the Beauty of Horror Tarot deck looks like, I really love this deck, how it's so expressive and different and a little bit dark. But do know here that nevertheless, the Star is one of the most positive cards in the tarot deck, corresponding to the number 3. This stands for your available tools. So know that optimism and hope and just overall good luck, good fortune is on your side when it comes to your love story, all my beautiful Taurus babies. And this is something that you're being pushed to make use of and to see as a tool, to see it as something that is useful to you. Wow, next up we have the Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups is one of the most favorable cards when it comes to love and relationships. This is a card that shows completion, a culmination of an amazing love life. I can see that here in your natural advantages. Natural advantages, that's what the fourth field stands for here in my Divine Guidance tarot board that I designed and came up with. So in the Ten of Cups, all my beautiful Taurus babies, know here that a family, a marriage, a relationship that is grounded, a relationship that is rooted in love, affection, and mutual respect is the outcome for you. This is naturally what you are leaning towards, naturally what you are inclined to accomplish. This is what your sign is definitely manifesting. So let's pull a few charms into your divine intervention space. We have the Seahorse as well as the Anchor. So we have a lot of water sign energy. All my beautiful Taurus babies, could it be that a water sign is going to be the one for you, is going to make your love story partner? I can definitely see here within the Seahorse and the Anchor strong ties to family. You may or may not know that the Seahorse is, I don't know if it's the only, but if it's not, it's one of very few animals where the male animal actually carries out most of the pregnancy, the child, how should I say, bearing, so to say. So I do want you to know in the Anchor, in conjunction to the Anchor, I hope you can see it, all my beautiful Tauruses. this just shows that you are rooted, right? That once you have a family system, once you have someone who you love, you can rely on, who you can count on, you're sticking to them and you're not going anywhere. You're not kind of looking around to see if there's anything better. You're rooted in your family. I can see here within this key that we received that this is like the way to unlock your heart. This is the way to unlock your happiness. And this is your divine intervention, understanding that yes, you're someone who is very determined, who is very security loving, and this is something that you should embrace, and you should let yourself be with a partner who truly appreciates that and who can see the value in it, right? Not someone who's playing games with you. That is what I see for your love story. We also have the letter T being of importance. I'm going to pull another tea leaf, well, a tea leaf card for, oh, okay, one popped right out of the pile, and the card that popped out is the eagle. So in the eagle, just adding the very last piece of information to your wake-up call, your divine intervention, I can see here that triumph over troubles and obstacles is ultimately the outcome in your love story, all my beautiful Tauruses. I see this being like a wake-up call for you because you understand that given your very caring nature, your very family-oriented nature, your love story is one that is going to succeed. It is one that defies the odds, and one that you can definitely count on making you as well as a special someone really happy. So let's move further into your reading. With the sixth field, we have the Page of Blades. Now the sixth field corresponds to changes that are coming your way, and in the Page of Blades I can see some air sign energy ruffling some feathers, okay, maybe questioning your integrity or questioning your love life, your preferences in love. Next, for the seventh field, I can see here that your opportunity that you have here is to grow and to understand that the people who irk you and annoy you the most, you can get annoyed, of course, you can be angry, you can be aggressive, you can talk back at them or give them a taste of their own medicine, as I can see here in the Page of Blades that this person is just like a troublemaker. So think someone who is a Gemini, Libra, or an Aquarius has that type of strong energy in their chart, and you just can't stand them. They're a bit of a smart ass. And in the Temperance card, I can definitely see here that the potential opportunity that you can see is that the people who annoy you the most are your greatest teachers. That is an opportunity that you have here, all of my beautiful Tauruses. Seeing the people who challenge you or annoy you the most as teachers really ensures that you grow as much as you possibly can, because clearly there's something there if someone can push you over the edge or someone can annoy you to the point where you don't even want to be around them, right? Clearly there is a part of you that can benefit from learning, that can benefit from growing out of that behavior. So see them as giving you an opportunity to grow that you wouldn't have with people who you get along with. That is a great way to see any type of troublemaker alongside your journey to love as an opportunity for growth. Next up, in the eighth field, let's talk about new connections. I can see here in the Emperor that new connections coming towards you in conjunction to your love story is a connection to someone who is very strong. So a boss, someone who knows what they want. And this is where I can see that for my Taurus babies, you may actually be the one who spends most or at least a lot of time in the home. If you ever have a family, you may actually be the one who spends a lot of time taking care of children, a lot of time doing things that was traditionally like the mother's job. And it doesn't matter whether you end up being the mother, the father, who you identify as to your offspring or those who you're caring for, but I can definitely see here that being deeply rooted and grounded in your home your home environment is what's coming towards your love life, is a part of your love story. You're very involved in your home life. Next, for the 9th field, let's talk about new focal points. I can see here in the 5 of Rods that some new focal points for you is definitely to get rid of anything that is causing friction or that is challenging you, getting rid of self-comparison, and ensuring that you see this like Page of Blades type of personality as a great teacher. Anyone who makes you feel annoyed or who takes you away from a place of calm is a teacher. See them as such, and understand here in the 5 of Rods that you're only able to challenge yourself when that type of person is around. So it's a blessing, right? Because otherwise you would never know that there's a part of you that you can still work on. So lastly, in the number 10, we have the outcome in the Hermit. I can definitely see here that the outcome for all of my beautiful Tauruses is that you have a home life that you're happy with, that you can recede, take yourself back to, that you can crawl into whenever you feel hurt, whenever you feel depleted, whenever you feel tired. And it's like a safe space. It's like a safe haven. Okay, your home life is something that feeds into you being more of an introvert, as you are spending a lot of time with your family, your adopted family, and with your partner during your love story. So all of my beautiful Tauruses, we are at the end of your reading, and I really hope that you found it insightful and relaxing and fun, and that you loved this approach. Make sure that you leave a little seahorse emoji down below in the comment section to let me and others know that you made it to this point of your reading and that you are a Taurus baby. Thank you so much for spending this divine time and space with me, and I'll catch you during one of my upcoming videos. Hello, all my beautiful Geminis, and welcome to your zodiac signs love story. So let's get straight into it. I can't wait to figure out exactly what's happening during your sign's love story and what you can expect next. First up, we have the King of Bottles. So all of my beautiful Geminis, in the first field, that is where we're going to be putting this card into, and this stands for current opportunities. The King of Bottles is a card that represents a water sign, a very mature water sign, a water sign that is older than you. So think Pisces, Scorpio, or Cancerian. They are someone who's very caring, very empathetic, and someone who loves to listen to you. As a Gemini, you're very communicative and witty. You tell the best stories. You're youthful and lively. So you are most likely the one who is a little bit more extroverted in this relationship, in this connection, from what I can see so far. Here in the second field, we have any obstacles that are in your way. I can see fatigue, all my beautiful Geminis, okay? Overextending yourself, spending too much time at work, too little time in love, too little time enjoying love. So that is where I can see that there may be some obstacles that need to be addressed, and that your guides and your angels want you to look at. Next up, let's talk about the third field, which stands for tools that are available to you. We have the Moon, your intuition, all my Geminis. You are someone who has a very quick mind. You're very eloquent, you're very intellectual, but at the same time, you can be a bit nervous and tense. And that is where at times you feel like your intuition leads you astray, not because it actually does, but because due to nervosity, due to tension, you take your gut feeling in the wrong way, okay? You mix up your gut feeling with other feelings that are more tense and that have to do with anxiety and nervosity. So that is where I can see here in the Moon that a great opportunity for you is to hone your understanding of what your intuition is trying to tell you, when it's trying to talk to you, and to use that for your love story, to use that as an advantage of yours moving forward. Next, we have the Wheel of Fortune, which is going to come into this fourth field. The The Wheel of Fortune stands for opportunities, but also the things that are set in motion are going to be executed, are going to be carried out. So do know here that the fourth field in my Divine Guidance Tarot and Oracle board stands for natural advantages of yours. So I can definitely see here in the Wheel of Fortune that a natural advantage that you have is how adaptable that you are, okay? No matter how the Wheel of Fortune turns and how quickly it moves, you are a very adaptable and versatile sign, and this is something that helps you throughout your love story and your love life. So the fifth field stands for your divine intervention, and I am going to be using some charms for you. Okay, so we have a few charms. First up, we have this bird. So I definitely see a very freedom-loving side. We also have this guitar. We have a leaf as well as a tree. So we have a lot of air sign energy that I see represented here, all my beautiful Gemini. So these charms are definitely for you. I think the bird goes without say, but also the leaf and the tree. Just think to yourself how they are affected by air and how leaves are carried. And for example, trees are also able to propagate through wind, right? Through wind, just distributing their seeds, distributing all of the pollen that is needed in order for lots of different plants to grow and blossom. It is a very important part. So do know here that your air sign qualities really do make a difference in your love story. As I can see here, that music and lyrics are a great way for you to communicate and express yourself, but at the same time, do also know here in the guitar that we have that playing your own song and not feeling like you have to conform is something that you are being kind of like pushed to do, and you're being kind of encouraged to do, all my beautiful Geminis. Then we have the letter I as well as E as another indicator. So I hope that these two letters give you some added clarity for your love story. Oh, okay, we have a card that popped out of the pile, which is the beetle. And the beetle is going to also go into this divine intervention field. The beetle stands for good fortune. So I can definitely see here that your wake-up call, your divine intervention is just going to be how much good fortune you actually have in your love life, and how undeniable it is that your angels and your guides are supporting you and are picking a love life and partners that are truly healthy and healing to you and your future. Next, we have the changes that are coming your way. I can see here in the desk that you're being called to pay attention to your work. So there is going to be something that impacts your work. There's a reason why you're being called to pay attention to your work. Let's figure out why. I can see here in the younger man that dealings or a relationship with a younger man, that is going to affect your work, my Geminis, and that's why you're being called to pay close attention. So it could be that your love story has to do with a younger man that is at your workplace, that is maybe even distracting you a little bit. But if you feel like there is some sort of competition for your job in your workplace, definitely double down on focusing on your job so that you don't lose out to this younger man. Okay, so it is a bit of competition, but potentially a love interest. Next, for the seventh field, we have the older woman. And the seventh field stands for potential opportunities. So that is where I can see here in the older woman that there is a very wise female figure that can give you great advice when it comes to this situation with the younger man. And also what that has to do with you paying attention to your job and how you can ensure that you don't mess up anything that you've worked so hard for just because of this younger man. Let's add one more card. We have the ear. So I can definitely see here within the ear as well as the beetle that you're going to receive verbal communication of amazing news, of good fortune. Your love story is going to be filled with hearing amazing things that really hit a nerve for you as a Gemini. You are a very wordy person. You're someone who thrives off of language. You thrive off of hearing the right words. A lot of Gemini's love language is actually words of affirmation as well. So that is where I can see that your love life, your love story is able to bloom and blossom. So communicate that with partners. That's very important. Next, we have the number 8, which stands for new connections. And I can see here in the cucumber that becoming more and more emotional is something that happens kind of naturally for you. The cucumber also corresponds to the Cancerian. So I do want you to know here, in conjunction to the King of Bottles, that we had first up within your reading, all my beautiful Geminis, and we figured out that there may be a water sign who is important within your life. Know here that there's more water sign energy that's present and that's somehow essential for your love life. Pay attention to that and know that this water sign is definitely going to rub off on you. Know that this water sign is definitely going to make you feel more connected on an emotional basis. I can see here in the onion, which is about to go into the 9th field, that new focal points for you are definitely protection. Protecting your heart, protecting your emotional and mental well-being, and also repelling anything that doesn't honor that or that doesn't stand for protecting your honor. That is one thing that I see within your reading. Then last but not least, we have the times. So I can see here that a big outcome for your love story is going to be newfound courage and also newfound respect for yourself. I can see for you, all of my Gemini babies, that your love story is one that is filled with adventure. It's filled with learning about yourself and connecting more to your emotional side while also keeping yourself safe. But I want you to know here in the time that your journey to love, or let's call it your love story, is one that is going to teach you what courage really means and how much stronger and more courageous than you ever believed you were, that you actually indeed are. Okay, that is one thing that I want you to know here in courage. This also corresponds to Libras. This corresponds to other air signs. So know here that this air sign energy being the outcome just shows like a bigger, courageous, more strengthened version of you being the outcome of your love story, being the outcome of what happens throughout your romantic connection. So all of my beautiful Geminis, this is the reading that I received for you, and I really hope you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Leave a little beetle emoji down below in the comment section to let me and others know that you were here. Thank you for spending this divine time with me. Know that I'm sending you so much love, and I'll catch you during one of my upcoming videos. Hello, all of my fellow Cancerians, and welcome to your zodiac signs love story prediction. So let's move straight into it. I'm so excited to figure out exactly what's coming towards you in love, what your love story is going to be. So let's move into it with the first field, which corresponds to current opportunities. First up, we have the waxing gibbous 3. So all of my beautiful Cancerians in the waxing gibbous 3, I can see here that having standards, setting boundaries, that is where a lot of opportunity lies. You may feel like you're confining yourself to your own little bubble, or like you're maybe not giving enough people opportunities by setting boundaries and having standards, but I do want you to know here that there lies a lot more opportunity in a smaller handful of high quality and high caliber people to have your love story with, rather than just being in a pool or a sea sea of so many fish that it's hard to choose from, and that you're going to have to kind of go through a lot more disappointment than necessary. So do know here in the waxing gibbous 3 that having standards, setting boundaries, those are all very healthy things for you to be doing. Next, we have the supermoon. So in the supermoon coming into the second field, I can definitely see here that what may cause a little bit of difficulty during your love story is when there is just like genuine chemistry there. And I mean physical chemistry. I mean physical attraction. And sometimes only physical attraction. Like, you know, this person is maybe not good for you. You know, this person may have issues on an emotional level. You know, they may have issues where they don't want to commitment issues, control issues, and you understand they're not healthy for you, but boy, oh boy, are they attractive, all my beautiful Cancerians. So that is where you need to not self-sabotage and to be able to let go, to not be clingy when you're in a situation with someone who is attractive. There are lots of attractive people out there. Don't cling to one that is toxic. Now let's move on to the third field of your love story, which corresponds to tools that are available to you. I can see here in the last quarter moon for all of my Cancerians that being grateful for the time that you spent with people rather than mourning the loss of having to move on or them departing out of your life for whatever reason definitely eases the tension off of your love story and definitely makes things a little bit more easy for you moving forward. Next, for the fourth field, let's talk about your natural advantages. I can see here in the waning gibbous 2 that a big natural advantage for you is how emotional and loving that you are, and the fact that for a love story, these are, I want to say basic traits, but they aren't for every zodiac sign. You may have experienced this, but these are definitely basic things if you want a relationship to thrive, right? Being caring, being loving, being also to a certain degree a little bit protective and intuitive, knowing what your partner needs, trying to understand what your partner needs without them having to always vocalize everything. So not in an unhealthy way of kind of, how should I say, having to guess what they're thinking because they're not telling you, but in a way of intuitively understanding your partner. So I want to add a few charms into the fifth field, which stands for your divine intervention. So we have the key as well as the sea star first up for all my beautiful Cancerians. So I definitely see here that there is some water sign energy that is represented, and in the key I do see here that water sign energy is one that helps you unlock even the most difficult of situations. The key has a little 4-leaf clover on the end. So I can definitely see here that water sign energy is one that helps you overcome any obstacles. And this type of energy is just overall very loving and caring. So chatting and connecting with another Cancerian or another fellow water sign is definitely often like the intervention that you need. Next, we have the arrow. So in the arrow, you are being told by your guides in the universe right now that you're on the right path for your love story. You're on the right path regarding an aspect in your life. This reading is about your love story, my beautiful Cancerians, and the universe is confirming that whatever you're doing right now, it's working. You're on the right path. Continue doing it and don't overthink. Don't worry too much. Let's move further into your reading, though. Let's talk about the sixth field, which stands for some changes that are coming your way. We have, wow, the Cancerian card, all of my beautiful Cancerians. So the biggest change that you will experience on your journey to love during like your love story, so to say, is the change that you'll see within yourself, all my beautiful Cancerians. You're an emotional, sensitive, caring, and loving being, and you're very family oriented. You're very protective over the people who you love. So that is where I can see that changes are occurring on a deep cellular level of feeling more comfortable with yourself and also maturing from being like a baby Cancer to a full-blown one that is less moody, that is less changeable, that is less over emotional and touchy, and also isn't clinging to toxic people. Next, we have the 7th field, which stands for potential opportunities. I see here in the 9 of Wands that what can really help your love story grow and excel and be healthier than it ever has been is to kind of place some boundaries between you and work, you know, kind of push those work things away, those work emails, those work calls that are hitting you after hours, that are hitting you while you should be spending some romantic time with your special someone. Don't let work come in between or kind of ruin time that you know is better spent with a partner. Next up, we have the 8th field, which stands for new connections. In the Knight of Wands, I can see that hanging out with a fire sign, or this fire sign potentially even being that connection of your love story that fulfills you, is one that helps you set more boundaries, because as a Cancerian, you maybe don't quite understand what it's like to just be able to say, whatever, I'm not going to care about this thing. I'll think about it later, but right now I'll live in the moment. This may be like a very foreign concept to you. So I see the Knight of Wands inspiring you and pushing you to be able to set more appropriate boundaries. Let's move on to the 9th field. I see here in the 10 of Cups for the 9th field, which in fact stands for your new focal points. I see that being your relationship and your love life. So I do want you to know here that your love story is definitely going to be the focal point of your existence, all my beautiful Cancerians, which kind of like goes really well with how you naturally are as a sign. You're very caring, very family oriented and loving. So having your love life and your love story take up a lot of your time and energy, to the point where you're actually even pushing work aside and you're learning to say no to pushy bosses or coworkers, is something that shows also that you're emotionally in a place of fulfillment and happiness, because if not, you wouldn't want to spend more time with your love life being the focal point, right? So happiness is something that I see here. Last but not least, in the 2 of Swords, I do want you to know that the outcome is some strong decision making. As a Cancerian, it's not always easy, because you feel like when you're saying yes to something, the no that you're conveying to another area of your life is like almost stronger than the yes that you're giving to, you know, whatever it is that you do want to do. So understand here in the 2 of Swords that making choices, it's essential. Instead of seeing yourself as saying no to your job or pushy coworkers or your boss, see it as you saying yes to your love story, yes to your personal romantic fairy tale, and yes to enjoying all of the pleasures that your love life has to offer you. So all of my beautiful Cancerians, this is the reading that I received for you. I hope that you enjoyed this zodiac-based part just as much as I did creating it. Make sure that you leave a little pink heart emoji down below in the comment section to let me and others know that you were here and that you're a Cancerian. Thank you for spending this divine time and space with me, and I'll catch you during one of my upcoming videos. Hello all my beautiful Leo babies, and welcome to the zodiac portion of your love story prediction. So I'm going to get straight into this highly personalized second part of your reading, starting off with the first field on my divine guidance board. The first field corresponds to current opportunities in your love life. I can see here in the waxing give us 3 that currently the opportunities for you are to set boundaries and to uphold those boundaries. So contrary to a popular belief, setting boundaries doesn't mean that you're limiting your love story. That actually means that you're protecting yourself in your little bubble, and in in that bubble, you can be unafraid, you can express love, you can show people gratitude. And I can definitely see here in the waxing gibbous 3 that boundaries and having limitations is actually giving you a lot of opportunities for your love story, because you're not putting up with anyone who does not appreciate you. You're not going to be wasting time on people who want you to lower your standards just so that there will be excuses available for them to make use of for bad behavior. So do know here that having boundaries, upholding those, having standards, all of that is an opportunity for you. As a Leo, you're very warm-hearted. You're someone who is faithful and loving. So having boundaries is important to ensure that people don't take your kindness as a sign of weakness. Next up, for the second field, let's talk about any obstacles that are in the way. So we have the waxing crescent 4. I can see here that an obstacle for my beautiful Leos could definitely be to love yourself, to the extent of understanding that no, setting boundaries doesn't mean that you're being too, how should I say, that you're being too difficult. Setting boundaries doesn't mean that you're being pompous or anything like that, or intolerant. I want you to know here in the waxing crescent 4 that that is an act of self-love, setting real boundaries and having real expectations and almost rules in your love life that you follow. Next, let's move on to the third field, the tools that are available for you. We have the waxing crescent 6. So I can see here that your love story is like a tool in itself, okay? Your path to love. Because I do want you to understand, all my beautiful Leos, that your path to love is one that will teach you what self-love is, will teach you what setting boundaries is all about, and how it can serve you, how you can do so in an appropriate fashion. Let's move on to the fourth field, which corresponds to your natural advantages. We have the waxing crescent 5. So I can see that as a natural advantage for my beautiful Leos of this world. We have nourishment, we have how your body reacts to proper nourishment, okay, to eating whole foods, unprocessed foods, to properly hydrating yourself, properly taking care of your nourishment, and ensuring here that you are eating as healthily as you possibly can. So let's move on to the fifth field. The fifth field is your divine intervention. It's your wake-up call during your love story, that pivotal moment that's going to change everything. So this is like a sign for you that you can use as a symbol of when your love story is taking a turn. We have the cup. So in the cup, I can see here that this is a sign, this is like your wake-up call. You should accept valid criticism, okay? So you should be open to people who you know only have good intent, giving you advice, giving you constructive criticism, and that being like a wake-up call, all my beautiful Leos. You understand that on my channel, I'm here to be truthful, not just to provide readings with things that everyone wants to hear. So yeah, this is going to be a wake-up call, accepting criticism and actually asking yourself, is this relevant for me or is this not relevant for me? Because just because you are thinking about the criticism, just because you're paying a little bit of extra mind to it to figure out, to discern whether it's valid or not, doesn't mean that it has to be true, right? I can definitely see here in the saw and the horse that through accepting the criticism and just thinking about it, criticism that you may receive about your love life, people saying, oh, your standards are too high, or maybe you just need to give this person another chance, you will know that you may have to sever ties with certain people through accepting their criticism. I see that here in the horse as well as the saw combined, okay? You may have to just cut a little area out of your life, out of the equation, because the criticism may actually be so invalid that you understand that this person is not giving you good information. This person maybe isn't a real friend. And on the other hand, through listening to other people's criticism and taking it in, you know, really giving it a little bit of time for self-reflection, you're going to figure out who is a true friend, a real friend. You will see criticism that is well meant, that is only meant to help you. So we have 2 letters available for you. We have the letter S as well as the letter L. So these 2 letters have significance in your wake-up call. But I want to keep moving on with your love story, all my beautiful Leos. Next up, the changes coming your way. I can see here in the Lovers card that changes coming your way is definitely right after some divine intervention, is some real romantic love, is some love that makes you feel fulfilled, that makes you feel like you are in a place of mutual respect, of mutual understanding. And I do want you to know that the Lovers card is definitely a very positive one when it comes to your love story. It shows a fulfilled love life. The 7th field corresponds to potential opportunities that still lie ahead. In the Emperor, I can see that a potential opportunity for you is to be with someone who is very strong-minded, to be with someone who has authoritative type of energy, as I do see here in the Emperor, that taking the lead is something that is essential in your love story, that is essential in your love life. As a Leo, you're a very strong person, you're creative, you're very broad-minded, and it is important for you to be with someone who allows you to express that and at the same time has a strong personality themselves, so that they don't kind of drown around you and your strong personality. We have a card that popped right out, which is the Devil. Okay, so the 8th field corresponds to any new connections that may be made. So I can definitely see here in the Devil that there may be some temptation, there may be a little bit of incline to be rooted in the earthly realms. And this is what the Devil often stands for as well. Materialism and just overall, over-consuming things in the material realm that aren't necessary, maybe just to attain a certain status or to look a certain way, an image being something that is so important that you sometimes go out of your way significantly to create a certain image, rather than to ensure that things are really as they seem on the inside, that you're really filled with confidence and self-love on the inside. So I can definitely see here in the Devil that you are making different connections to times in your life where you were maybe a little bit extra just due to materialism and how the mainstream media focuses on programming us to live a very materialistic life. Next up, let's move on to the 9th field, which stands for your new focal points. I can see here in the 3 of Bottles that your new focal points are definitely to have fun. Your new focal points are to lean on a partner, lean on your lover, all of my beautiful Leos, and to be 100% sure that they are there to support you, to protect you, to uplift you. I do want you to know here in the 3 of Bottles that your new focal point is all about having fun and a good time romantically. Then, last but not least, in the 10th field, we're going to have the 2 of Pills take the spot. The 2 of Pills stands for an outcome for you. I can definitely see here that this shows shared resources. Okay, I can see that your love story is going to end up with you sharing a home, sharing finances with another person, sharing resources so you can save money in the long term and so you can afford more things as a whole. So I can see in the 2 of Pills that this is a great spot for you to be in your relationship because it shows trust. It shows that you value one another's opinions and that you're fully committed to the relationship. So your love story is definitely going to go through some major changes and growth, and know that you can find support by feeling comfortable in your own body, because that will completely change your mood and your outlook, and that being with someone who is very strong is truly the key to your success. Along the ride, you may have to face some kind of like, how should I say, some relapses to materialism, but that's completely normal. In the end, just take things with a grain of salt. Understand that we are constantly being pushed towards being materialistic by the media, at the end of the day, if you feel like you relapse, don't be hard on yourself. Don't take it too seriously. Just do better the next day. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday and build on that. So all of my beautiful Leo babies, this is the zodiac portion of your reading that I received for you. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it fun and insightful. Let me know down below in the comment section. Leave a little bottle emoji in the comment section to let me and others know that you were here, and I'll catch you during one of my upcoming videos. Hello all my beautiful Virgo babies, and welcome to the zodiac portion of your love story. Let's get straight into it, shall we? I'll be starting off here in the first field, where we will be discussing the current opportunities that are here for your love story, for you to grasp now. We have the Two of Rods. So all of my beautiful Virgos, I definitely see here that an opportunity for you is to step out of being so modest and humble and make decisions that make you feel fulfilled and that make you feel loved, especially if you are or have been in unhappy relationships. Just decide to cut those relationships out of your life and move on without any fear or without any worry of what others may think. Let's move on to the second field, which stands for any obstacles that are in your way. I can see here in the Death card that the obstacles in your way are definitely that you need a little bit of a fresh slate and a bit of a fresh start, all my beautiful Virgos. You need to rethink your attitude towards yourself as well as towards love, and also what you deserve and what you absolutely do not deserve. So being sure that you're not being too humble, that is one thing that I can see may need to change, and that you're not being too modest about what you can demand in love, not being too shy about expressing your wants and your needs. I can definitely see that the Death card speaks to a rebirth and a reconfiguration being necessary before you can move on in your love story to parts of your love story that are filled with more romance. So there has to be a little bit of change. I can see here for the third field that we can move on with your available tools. I can see here in the Hermit that a great tool to initiate change, to initiate kind of a rebirth of how you feel about love that we spoke about here in the Death card, is to take some time alone, to take some time in Hermit mode, to give yourself some contemplation, to give yourself the benefit of the doubt as well, to remind yourself of how worthy that you are, and to not allow anyone or anything to make you question that or make you feel like for some reason you're being too pompous, by simply asking for a mutually loving relationship with someone who is there, who doesn't find the need to, over and consume substances or constantly go out with friends or constantly want to split bills with you, things like that. You want commitment. You want someone who shows that they're all in or all out. Next, let's talk about the fourth field, which stands for natural advantages. I can see here in the Magician that a big natural advantage for you, my beautiful Virgos, is definitely the fact that you're very smart, that you're very meticulous, practical, and intelligent, okay? The Magician definitely shows someone who is smart, who is street smart, but also book smart. So education may be something that you have had a lot of success in. So I do want you to know here in the Magician that this also corresponds to the number 1, which is the number of initiation. That is the number of starting something new. So understand here in the Magician that this is a big natural advantage for you, that you're able to start new things whenever you want because you are smart enough to do so. Okay, you're practical enough to figure things out on yourself, and you don't need anyone to hold your hand or guide the way, contrary to how it can sometimes feel, especially because you're a bit of a perfectionist. Sometimes you can feel insecure in areas of your life where you're actually pretty good. Next up, let's move on to the 5th field, which is your divine intervention or a wake-up call. We have the butterfly. So in the butterfly, I can see here that your divine intervention is actually just a change for the better. My beautiful Virgos, your love story is going to change for the better. So no matter what's happening right now in your love life, in your love story, do know here that a change for the better is coming. I also want to add some charms into your reading. So we have a little pine cone, we have a bird in a cage, we have a key, as well as the sun. So it's very clear here to me that with the bird in the cage, there is some sort of freedom that's being unlocked in conjunction to the key. So letting yourself be free. We also have the butterfly here, which also needs to be able to fly freely, that doesn't thrive in a cage. So that is something that I see for you. Don't be so modest. Don't be so shy. Know here that you can unlock your own cage. And the sun stands for bliss. It stands for happiness. It stands for warmth and just overall well-being. So unlocking your ability to be free and to thrive in your freedom is something that I see as like a divine intervention and much needed wake-up call for you to hear. In the pine cone, we have some resources, some earthly resources that will then be more available to you. So think an increase in material abundance, think an increase that you have to expand your position at your work and to overall just grow as a professional. So next, let's add a few letters in for you. We have the letter G as well as Y that are indicators about your love story and who your love story is going to be fulfilled with. So let's move further down the line into your reading to the 6th field, which stands for the changes that are coming your way. So I can see here in the grape, abundance is something that's coming your way. We already spoke about that within the pine cone just now, how that is a part of your divine intervention, change, your revamp of your love life, so to say. For the 7th field, let's talk about the potential opportunities coming for you. I can see here in the snapdragon that a potential opportunity is for you to just purify your space, my beautiful Virgos. That could be through using incense, it could be through cleansing with crystals, just overall giving your space a nice little clean, a nice little cleanse, if you know what I mean. And ensuring that you only have the best of energies that surround you, that are in your immediate surrounding. Moving on to the 8th field, let's talk about new connections. So I can see here in the ever unfolding rose that new connections are able to be made once you're kind of like cracked open and you understand that life is happening for you. Life is not happening to you. Especially when difficult things happen in life, it can feel as though we're just making this connection that, oh, well, you know, life is kind of just happening to us, and we either picked a good card at birth or we picked a difficult card, and that's just how life is going to play out. But in the ever unfolding rose, in conjunction to the 8th field and you making new connections, I definitely see here that on a mental level, you can reconnect and rewire yourself to understand that life is here for you. Life is here and can serve you. Life is not something that is just happening to you that you just need to bear. Even the most difficult times can be turned around. Even the most difficult situations can be made light of if only you understand that you have more power than you ever expected. Next up, let's move on to the 9th field, which speaks for your new focal points. I can see here that new focal points of yours are taking leaps of faith and going first, understanding that taking a leap of faith doesn't have to be a scary thing, and that it's okay to be bad at something. It's okay to not be great at a new hobby, at a new skill, and also to take different turns, take different leaps in your love life. You don't have to be perfect from the get-go at anything. You don't have to have anything work out meticulously right from the start. It's okay to stumble, and it's not something to feel ashamed of or to be embarrassed about. Next, well, last but not least, we have the 10th field, which speaks for your outcome. Your outcome here is to stop overthinking, to keep facing your true north, because you're already doing what you need to do in order to have an amazing love story unfold for you, my beautiful Virgos. So know here in you're already doing it, that this is a great sign that you're already on track. You're already on the right route to conceive a love life that is abundant, that is a change for the better for you, my beautiful Virgos. So keep doing it. Don't overthink it. Okay, that's literally what this card says. Stop overthinking, my beautiful Virgos. If you're going to take anything from your love story prediction, it's that. Don't overthink things. So all my beautiful Virgos, we are at the end of your reading, and I hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Leave a butterfly emoji down below in the comment section to let me and your beautiful Virgo brothers and sisters know that you were here and you received the second part of your highly personalized love story reading. Thank you so much for sharing this divine time and space with me, and I'll catch you in one of my upcoming videos. Hello, all my beautiful Libras, and welcome to the zodiac portion of your love story prediction. So I want to get straight into it, starting off with the first field right here, which corresponds to your current opportunities in your love story and how you can access those opportunities. First up, we have the waning give us 6. So I can see here in the waning give us 6 that there is currently wisdom that you're not making use of, and I can definitely see here that this wisdom is well documented. So think a friend or a family member who has been in a relationship, a love story, a marriage, whether it was a good one or a toxic one. They have a lot of wisdom that they can share with you, and this is an opportunity that you're being called to make use of, because anyone who has already had a good portion of their particular love story unfold will know the stories, the wisdom, the knowledge that was shared with them, and how that can be relevant for you. For example, what type of treatment you should be okay with and accept, what you should absolutely not accept on your love story journey, and what type of mistakes you can avoid, right? So definitely take in some wisdom from people who have had more experiences romantically than you have, my beautiful Libras. So moving on to the second field, let's look at the current obstacles in your way. I can see here in the waxing give us 1 that an obstacle for you can be to be discerning. As a Libra, you can be a little bit indecisive and changeable. So to just kind of put your focus onto one thing, to discern, to decide, and also to decide what type of wisdom is valid or who to get this wisdom from. I definitely see that this can be a little bit challenging, a little bit tricky. You may feel like you're not 100% sure what you're doing and whether you are taking advice from the right people. Let's move on to the third field. I can see here some available tools for you is the waxing crescent 4, which stands for extra self-love, extra self-care. So putting on a face mask, running yourself a bath if that's a possibility for you, and wearing your favorite clothes, making yourself feel really good about yourself. And there are lots of ways how you can do things for free, right? Not everything has to cost a lot of money either. There are lots of things that are completely free that you can do to give yourself a little bit of extra love, to give yourself a little bit of extra care. I do want you to know here that this is an amazing tool for you to become more discerning, because you are able to gain more clarity in yourself. You're able to just calm yourself down and really be able to receive wisdom for your love story journey from others, maybe books, podcasts, and just overall discern what is good advice and what isn't. Moving on to the fourth field, let's talk about your natural advantages. I can see here in the waxing crescent 3 that a big natural advantage for all of you Libras out there is because you're someone who is very charming and you're naturally also a great romantic partner. This definitely allows for quick growth across the board when it comes to love. So you experiencing lots of things that other people are not able to experience or haven't experienced romantically. I see that you definitely attract partners into your life who are wise, who are experienced, and who will treat you with like all the bells and whistles, okay? Who will take you on really like lavish dates, who will take you to places and spoil you because you just naturally kind of attract that type of person into your life. Let's move on to the 5th field, which stands for your wake-up call, your divine intervention. Let's see what that is. We have the forest. So I can definitely see here that a big intervention for you here in the forest is going to be this aha moment from muddled or unclear thinking to all of a sudden understanding that maybe you were in a forest all along. You may have looked around and asked yourself, what's going on with your love life? What's going on with your love story? And it may have been hard for you to understand what the next step forward is, why certain things are happening the way that they are. And I do see here within the forest that what you're going to come to terms with or realize is that maybe you were kind of like in the wrong place all along, or asking the wrong people all along. So that is where, again, this discernment from the wax and gibbous one is important. Let's add a few charms into your reading. We have the key, we have this anchor, we have dolphins within your charms, as well as a bicycle. So the dolphin definitely stands for happiness, finding a way out, using your intelligence to overcome any muddled or unclear thinking. I can see here in the anchor that pulling that anchor back up, kind of like uprooting from where you are, is the key to moving forward. It is definitely the key to traveling from your current situation further down your love story to parts that are easier, that are happier, that make you definitely understand that love is something that's available for you. So let's pull a few letters, shall we? We have the letter D as well as the letter C. So those have important significance on your journey to love, on your love story journey. So love is definitely something that may already be accessible in your life, but this reading is all about your love story. We're talking about the ups and downs, not just the best parts or the parts that everyone wants to hear. So for the 6th field, let's talk about the changes that are coming your way. I do see here in the Kent pumpkin that an increase in being productive is coming your way and is affecting your love life. So I can definitely see here that kind of focusing on yourself, being productive with your own goals is going to affect your love life. For the 7th field, we have the geranium. So for the 7th field, we have the potential opportunities, and I can see here that the more productive you are, the more you stick to being diplomatic, you stick to being invested in your goals and the things that you really want to accomplish, the more healing that you will experience, and the more you will see that it's okay to put yourself first. That is not something that's like unromantic or anything like that, okay? And you won't be easily influenced by people along your journey, along your love story journey, telling you that maybe you're too self-centered. You'll understand that you need to focus on yourself a lot of the time, actually. Next up, for the 8th field, let's speak about your new connections. I can see here in the broccoli that you will make lots of new connections when taking on a leadership role, all my beautiful Libras. So making new connections means meeting new people, but also making new connections on an emotional level, okay, on a mental level. Making connections about how being a leader is actually something that you're meant to do, is actually something that you can be really good at, as long as you allow yourself to get out of your head, not be so gullible, and not be someone who's easily influenced. The more you kind of stick to what you know, the better of a leader that you truly are, and the more decisive that you are, the more you discern what type of knowledge and information actually makes sense for you to consider before you implement that into your leadership, before you implement that into the type of advice or the type of tasks that you're telling others to do, that you're delegating. Let's move on to the 9th field. Let's talk about your new focal points. I can see here in the watermelon that along your love story journey, fertility is a big focal point, my beautiful Libras. This is definitely something that may surprise you, that you may feel like, oh, I don't really know if this is like a focal point that I want along my love story journey, but I see here that it's going to be an important topic of conversation, especially with the other person, and that it's something that you're going to want to focus on. Last but not least, we have the cucumber that popped right out of the pile, which stands for emotions. So I do see here in the cucumber that being in tune with your emotions is the inevitable outcome of your love story. Your emotions may be something that confuse you right now. It may be something that you still need to explore a little bit more. But all of my beautiful Libras, I do see here that your outcome is going to be more emotional depth as well as emotional security, feeling like you can open up, like you can be yourself, and like you don't constantly have to be like so diplomatic around your ideal partner. So a really fun and exciting relationship, but also one that allows you to be yourself and express your emotions in every situation and on every level. So all of my beautiful Libras, this is the second part to your love story prediction that I received for you. I truly hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Leave a little pumpkin emoji down below in the comment section to let me and others know. Thank you so much for spending this divine time with me, and I'll catch you during one of my upcoming videos. Hello all my beautiful Scorpios, and welcome to the zodiac portion of your love story prediction. So I'm excited to get right into it. We'll be starting off with the first field, which corresponds to the current opportunities for your love story that lie right before you. First up, we have the waxing gibbous 3. So all of my beautiful Scorpio babies, in the waxing gibbous 3, I do see here that setting boundaries and sticking to them, that is an opportunity for you. I know it may seem almost like counterintuitive to think that setting boundaries will actually create opportunities, but it does, because when you set boundaries and you have standards and you stick to those standards and you don't lower them for anyone, that creates a lot of opportunity for your love story to blossom, to flourish, and for you to feel happy in your love life, happier than you've ever been. Next up, we have the full moon, which corresponds to the number 2, which is all about any difficulties that may lie ahead in your love story. So I can see here that difficulties may lie in accessing your full power. The full moon does show here that your own personal power is something that may sometimes limit you. So if you have a bit of an ego, which we all have as human beings, well, almost all of us have that, then I can definitely see that that is sometimes something that is holding you back, or that is keeping your personal power smaller than it needs to be. So try not to be proud or to be in any way obsessive about control or obsessive about expressing yourself. People know how you feel when you say it the first time. Don't feel the need to repeat yourself too many times or to display that you're a powerful being. It is completely clear. All my beautiful Scorpios, you are a very determined, intuitive, powerful, passionate, and a magnetic sign. You do not need to overexert yourself in order to show others that that is the truth. We can all feel it when you enter a room. Next up, let's move on to the third field, which stands for available tools at your disposal. So we have the waxing gibbous 2, and I can see here that available tools for you are definitely fears and what those can do. So rather than letting your fears play against you, try to use your fears to your advantage. I know this sounds really crazy, all my beautiful Scorpios, but if you're, for example, someone who is a chronic procrastinator, you can use fears to stop you from procrastinating. For example, by betting with a friend that if you don't finish something in time or before the deadline, that if you do end up procrastinating, that you have to give them like $100 or $1,000 or whatever really hurts you. Maybe that's even a $1, but you have to be realistic and you have to use a number that actually scares you, where you're actually like, oh my God, if I lose this money just due to procrastination, like this is something that is definitely going to affect me negatively. So use your fears in order to get things done, even though it can seem a little bit forceful, it can seem a little bit unkind. Like sometimes we just need that push to stop us from procrastination, or to stop us from allowing smaller fears to constantly interfere with our life. We sometimes just have to use some big fears to make us overcome smaller ones. Next up, let's talk about the fourth field, which stands for your natural advantages in your love story. I can see here in the waning gibbous 2 that a natural advantage for you is how in tune you are with your body, and how you're just this being that is easy to love for other people. You're a very magnetic sign, my beautiful Scorpios. I want you to become aware of that here in the waning gibbous 2. And this is a natural advantage of yours. This is naturally something that already puts you in the area code of being really attractive and of attracting partners into your life more easily than other signs. Let's move on to your divine intervention, to your wake-up call. I can see here in the wreath that sorrow over loss is going to be a wake-up call for you. So in order to really wake up about your love life, to really wake up about its potential, you first are going to lose something. And I can see here within the starfish, as well as this little pipe guy, that this may have to do with someone who you're emotionally attached to, who is quite a bit older. So this may not be something unexpected. Okay, it could also be an animal that is getting older, where you understand that the natural process of life is soon coming to this culmination. So I can definitely see here in the wreath that that is something that truly gives you a wake-up call and gives your love life a wake-up call. Furthermore, we also have the letters K as well as E that are going to be affected in your divine intervention, in your love life, in your wake-up call. Let's move on to the sixth field, which stands for changes that are coming your way. So I can see here in Lemuria that changes coming your way definitely have to do with you creating an existence that you're truly proud of and happy with, and also understanding that life is too short to argue or to overthink things to the point where you're not enjoying precious time, especially with those who are already elderly. That is one thing that I see here in Lemuria. Furthermore, we have the inner temple going into the seventh field, which stands for potential opportunities. And I do see here in the inner temple that you're definitely devoted to tuning into the portal of your heart, as well as tuning into creating a connection between yourself and the divine. So no matter how affected that your love life is by the loss of another person, by the loss of an opportunity in your life, I can definitely see here that you're always able to tune into the portal of your heart, to devote your inner temple to seeing the light in everything, and understanding that we are all going to come to an end. Okay, we're all going to eventually perish, and for that to actually be something that motivates you to create your best love life, rather than make you fearful of making decisions and of taking what you want. Next up, for the eighth field, let's talk about new connections. I can see here in the initiation that you're going to understand that you're going somewhere sacred in your love story, in your love life, but you have to give yourself the rite of passage and to not tell yourself that you need some sort of key or some sort of special element to get there. A lot of us feel like, oh, our love lives are going to be fulfilled or perfect once we reach a certain weight, or once we look a certain way, once we're a certain age, once we've accomplished a certain amount of success in our career. But do know here in the initiation, you can give yourself the rite of passage now. You don't have to wait for any of those things. You don't have to wait for X, Y, or Z to be in the perfect spot, because it may never get to that spot where you feel like it's perfect. You may reach a goal weight, or you may accomplish something in your career, and then you may think, oh, well, now I need the next thing in order for my love life, in order for my love story to be fulfilled, which is so not true. All my beautiful Scorpio babies, you can give yourself the rite of passage to an amazing love life right now. Let's move on to the ninth field, which stands for the new focal points. I can see here in the ever unfolding rose that for your love story, a new focal point is to understand that love and life is happening for you, not to you, not feeling like you are the victim of life or of difficult, unhelpful situations in love, that you are not the victim to meeting people who maybe are players or aren't very serious. Life is happening for you, and you are in control about how you see and how you take these experiences, whether you let them be kind of like learning lessons and help you set boundaries and have standards, or whether you allow those to scare you or make you resentful. I see here in the ever unfolding rose that it's your choice. Now let's talk about the outcome for the 10th field. Last but not least, I can see here that lastly, the outcome of your love story is to be with an empath, to be with a highly sensitive person, an HSP, someone who you can connect with, who you can get grounded with, and someone who is empathetic towards your needs, your desires, your wants, and everything that makes you happy. As a Scorpio, you're definitely someone who is super powerful. So you need someone who can read your little mannerisms, who can read your emotional state, who understands what you're going through, and who can empathize with that. An empath is someone who you can really thrive off of being with, because you are definitely not one who is going to experience a fulfilling love story with someone who is calloused or someone who is too overly rational. You need someone who understands your core, your inner temple, the portal of your heart, and also how difficult situations in your life have shaped you and have shaped your personality. So all of my beautiful Scorpio babies, this is the reading that I received for you. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Leave a little full moon emoji down below in the comment section to let me and others know that you were here. Thank you for spending this divine time with me, and I'll catch you during one of my upcoming videos. Hello, all my beautiful Sagittarius babies. Welcome to the zodiac portion of your love life prediction. So I want to get straight into it, starting off with the first field, which corresponds to the current opportunities on this divine guidance spread. So let's see what those are. We have the Bay. I can see here that a big opportunity for you Sagittarius babies is to use your wisdom, is to use knowledge that you have gathered through experience. The Bay also corresponds to the number 22, which is a master number that speaks of duality, that speaks of taking in new knowledge, but also using this data, right, to form further opinions for yourself. Let's move further into the second field, which stands for any type of obstacles that may be in your way. I can see here in the chives that divination is something that can help you with obstacles. Divination itself isn't the obstacle, but you may be being afraid of dabbling into divination, or feeling like you don't know how to use tarot or oracle cards, feeling as though divination can sometimes be a little bit difficult for you to access. And I create these free readings in order for you to get as much personalized content as possible, but also to empower you to use divination as a tool for yourself, to get tarot decks, to get oracle decks, to get divine guidance spreads, and have all of these tools to help you with your divine guidance, to help you use it as a tool to get to know yourself better, as well as your love life, your love story moving forward. So let's move on to the third field, which stands for your available tools. I can see here in the Kent Pumpkin that there's no way around it. In order to experience a love story that is as fulfilled as it possibly can be, all my beautiful Sagittariuses, you have to put in a little bit of work. You have to be productive when it comes to divination as well, okay? Learning a little bit more about divination, learning a little bit more about signs and symbols that you are continuously seeing throughout your day, and also just making yourself proud. Discipline truly is like the key to freedom and happiness. So look into that, read about it, and be productive in your day-to-day life. Moving on to the fourth field, let's talk about natural advantages that you have. I can see here in the carrot that a natural advantage for all my beautiful Sagittarius babies is just how much clarity that you possess, how honest and straightforward that you are. You're also someone who is very intellectual, and this clarity, this clairvoyance is something that a lot of signs lack. A lot of people of the zodiac wish that they had, so make good use of that. Moving on to the fifth field, we're talking about your divine intervention. We're talking about your wake-up call, so to say. So let's figure out exactly what that is. Ooh, okay, we have a card that popped out of the pile, which is the hand. So for your wake-up call, I can see here that understanding that it's okay to be in need of help, assistance, or guidance is a big wake-up call for you on your path to love. Not feeling like you have to be super independent and do everything yourself, because definitely as a Sagittarius, you can sometimes be a little bit irresponsible. You can sometimes be a little bit restless or careless in your approach. And in order to help yourself out in those situations where you know that you're inclined to act in a impulsive manner, like consider talking to other people about what you're going through. Consider asking them for help. You will be surprised. It's going to be like a divine intervention, a wake-up call for you to understand that people actually really love helping you, especially when they compare it to how many times you've helped them. So we have the starfish as well as the tree. I just pulled a few charms for you. So I definitely see here within the starfish that there is a lot of hope from other people that you will at some point ask them for help as well. I can see here within the tree that you are definitely someone who is always there for others. You're definitely someone who is always optimistic, who is always giving. And now it's also time for you to understand that you can sometimes stay rooted just like the tree and let others come to you, let others help you, let others give you a little bit of extra attention that is much needed. Then we also have the mermaid or siren. So I can definitely see here that a water sign could help you greatly, my beautiful Sagittariuses, as they are emotionally very eloquent and intelligent most of the time. And they can also help you kind of vocalize what you're going through, what you're feeling, and what your emotions may be at this point in time. So we have a U as well as an R. So these are two letters that are helpful indicators for your love story and the people who are involved in your divine intervention and wake-up call. Let's move on to the sixth field, which stands for changes that are coming your way. I can see here in the snapdragon that purification for your love story, and purification meaning like weeding out all of the low quality people, and someone who is low quality to you doesn't mean that they're like a low quality person overall. This is very subjective, all my beautiful Sagittariuses. Like, these words are never here to say that some people are less good than others. I do want you though to understand in the snapdragon that some people are just not going to be ideal partners for you, and you have to purify your space from them because they're most likely not bringing any positive energy or any furtherment of your happiness to the table. That's what the snapdragon stands for. You have to purify your energies from anyone who's keeping you confined, from anyone who has control issues. You are a freedom-loving and very good-humored type of sign. You are not going to do well being controlled. That is not your love story. Let's move on to the seventh field, which stands for potential opportunities. I can see here in the waning crescent 4 that with releasing anyone who doesn't let you embrace yourself, your Sagittarius self, this release comes with an increase in freedom, an increase in feeling like you can breathe again. So this is definitely a new opportunity you can make. The eighth field corresponds to different ways in which you can make new connections, and I can see here in the waxing gibbous 6 that making new connections in love and your love story just overall moving forward is only going to happen if you take action, if you take leaps, and if you're unafraid. And remind yourself here that the worst thing that can happen is for someone to say no. If you take action and you, for example, ask someone out, or you put yourself out there on a dating site, or you tell your friends that you're kind of open to meeting someone, do know here in the waxing, give a 6. The worst that can happen is that it doesn't work out. The best case scenario is that your love story is able to flourish and blossom with this new person who has now become a part of your life because you were unafraid to take action, and also release like anyone who isn't ideal for your love life, who isn't kind of like serving a purpose of either supporting you, loving you, being there for you in various ways, or hyping you up, keeping you on a positive path. Next, we have the 9th field, which corresponds to the new focal points. So I do see here in the waning give us 5 that building your resilience and not being afraid about any type of superficial letdowns is definitely what's coming next, is definitely a new focal point. So being unafraid to experience rejection and understanding that that's not going to kill you, it's not going to harm you. The most that it could do really is to just hurt your ego, but your ego is something that is able to be rebuilt, right? That is able to have a comeback if that's even something that you want. But obviously the best thing you can do for yourself is to try to distance yourself from ego as much as you can, as that will serve you, of course, on your journey, on your love story journey. Next up, we have your outcome. I can see here in the Dahlia that for the 10th field, for the number 10, your love life coming to a space of refinement is what's up next for you, my beautiful Sagittariuses. That's the outcome of your love story. Your love life being refined to the point where you feel like it serves you, to the point where you feel like you can ask for help, like it's okay for you to ask another person for their advice, and like you have a partner who's really there for you even in difficult situations, but who also lets you embrace your very freedom loving as well as fun and optimistic side. Because as a Sagittarius, you're just not meant to be confined in a cage, you're meant to be embraced. And I see that that is an important part of your love story. It's an important part of releasing anyone who doesn't allow you to embrace that part of yourself. So all of my beautiful Sagittarius babies, this is the reading that I received for you. I truly hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Leave a tree emoji down below in the comment section to let me and others know that you were here, that you received your reading, and that it resonated for you. Thank you so much for spending this divine time with me, and I'll catch you during one of my upcoming videos. Hello, all my beautiful Capricorn babies, and welcome to the zodiac portion of your love story prediction. So let's get right into it. We'll be starting off with the first field, which corresponds to your current opportunities during your love story, shall we? So first up, we have the 5 of coins. So I can see that an opportunity here for your love story is to move on from a place where you feel like you're just okay with crumbs, all my beautiful Capricorns. It is important for you to be with a partner who is willing to spend time and money on you. Yes, okay, we are talking about something that in the earthly realms, a lot of people feel uncomfortable to talk about, but you need to be with a partner who is really invested. And a way of showing that they're invested is, of course, whether they are wanting and able to spend money on you as well. And I can see here in the 5 of coins that this is definitely an opportunity that you need to make use of, that you need to take, an opportunity where you can move forward being with someone who doesn't just invest time, but actually shows that they put their money where their mouth is. Because if you think of it, we all have to work hard, of course, to make money. So for them to spend something that took a lot of hard work to build on you does show commitment and does show that they truly care. So that does not make you a bad person because you want to be treated in a kind manner. That is actually an opportunity for you to see whether someone is serious or not. Are they willing to share their resources? Especially if you're willing to share your resources, all my beautiful Capricorns, and you're someone who is patient, who is careful. That shows true love and care. So you can expect the same from someone else. Moving forward into your reading, we have the Seven of Wands, and in the Seven of Wands, I can see here that protecting yourself from opposition, or kind of just not even telling anyone that that's an important thing for you in love, is something that I can see here can serve you, because when you're opening up to other people about the fact that maybe a relationship or something with a lover didn't work out because you felt like they wouldn't spend enough time or money with you, there are too many people who are going to tell you to settle for less, which is just an obstacle which you don't need. So kind of like making sure that you're not settling for less, while at the same time not discussing that with people who you know are just going to make it harder for you to stick to your standards. There's no point in having them be a part of your love story. Moving on to the third field, let's talk about available tools for you. Wow, the Two of Cups is one of the most favorable cards when it comes to love, so I can definitely see here that a great tool for you to overcome any type of opposition or any type of difficulty along your love story is to be with someone who supports you. The Two of Cups definitely shows me that you're going to find your forever love, your soulmate, pretty early in life, and your love story is one where they are going to help you if there are any difficulties, if there's anyone who is kind of like pessimistic around you, who's kind of dragging you down. They're going to help you overcome any self-doubt or any feelings of even taking that negativity in. So do know here, all my beautiful Capricorns, that your love story is destined to be with someone who wants to grow with you and who also understands that no, you don't want to have to carry all the weight financially on your shoulders. No, you don't want to be the one who is giving and not receiving anything in return. But it can be difficult to explain that to other people who are okay with that, right? Who don't have the same philosophy. But that's why you have your partner to confide in throughout your love story. Next up, let's talk about the fourth field. We have your natural advantages that are here for you. I can see in the Four of Swords that a natural advantage for all my beautiful Capricorns is just the fact that you can keep secrets to yourself. You're someone who isn't very gossipy, and this is a big advantage because you don't stir up any type of drama. You're not the type of person who is going to cause drama for other people. You're not the type of person who is going to experience any type of squabbles, any type of, how should I say, misunderstandings, unless you have like consented to it, unless you for some reason want to start that. Okay, we have the number 5, which stands for your divine intervention. I can see here in the third house that your potential to learn, your potential to grow, your potential to just overall expand as a Capricorn. You're someone who is very ambitious and disciplined. So it does show me here in the third house that is definitely a big wake-up call for you. Your discipline leading to a lot of aha moments, a lot of enlightenment, and a lot of new understanding that you as well as your partner are able to benefit from. We're still going to find out exactly who is part of your love story and, you know, what zodiac sign, what type of house is affected. We have yet to figure that out. Let's move on to the sixth field, which stands for changes coming your way. I can see here within the flower moon that changes coming your way are definitely you blossoming, are definitely you stepping into a higher potential for your love life. I see that you've kind of not even seen what you're capable of. You've kind of not even scraped the top of what your love life is, your love story is going to be in the long run. Let's look at potential opportunities. I can see here in the worm moon that a potential opportunity is definitely also an expansion or a building of your own family with the person that you will end up with the person who you're going to be on this love journey with. When I say like blossoming and that you haven't even seen the opportunity that lies ahead of you, you haven't even seen your highest potential yet, I also want you to know that the same goes for building a family life and the want to do that, the want to be with someone in a way that is more serious and in a way that involves a family. Next up, we have a Capricorn. So all my beautiful Capricorns, I definitely see here that a relationship with a fellow Capricorn is one that can blossom really well for you. Capricorns are, or can be, serious and a little bit materialistic, but you're also very hardworking people. And getting along with another Capricorn is definitely something that comes naturally because you don't feel like you're the only one working hard, because the other person is just as diligent, the other person is just as ambitious, is just as patient and willing to work hard to take the slow and steady route for a long time in order to accomplish a favorable outcome. So I do definitely see here for the 8th field that new connections that you can make, the connection that is the most important in your love story is one with someone who has a strong Capricorn energy in their birth chart. Let's move on to the 9th field, which stands for your new focal points. I can see here in the waxing gibbous 4 that a new focal point for your love story is definitely to show what you want, okay, and to not feel like you can't have the things that you desire in love, because often we kind of tell ourselves like, nah, we just have standards that are really high, or maybe we're wanting to be with someone who's going to spend a lot of time and money on us. But if you are willing to do that for another person, all my beautiful Capricorns, like, why shouldn't there be someone who is willing to do that for you? You know, if you wouldn't bat an eye at splurging or spending a lot of time with someone who you love, why shouldn't that be reciprocated? You know what I mean? So last but not least, let's talk about your outcome. We have the waning crescent 2. So for your outcome, I can definitely see here that feeling as though there is no longer any resistance, like you can finally let go of resistance, is an outcome for your love story. As a Capricorn, it can be hard for you to let go, to truly fall in love, because while you're a very fun and humorous person, you're also reserved. You can also be a little bit conservative. And that is where I can see here in the waning crescent 2 that the outcome is going to be a completely new you. Your love story is going to trigger you to open up, to be unafraid to express love, to be unafraid to be vulnerable, and just show a completely new side of yourself that maybe you have not even experienced up until this point. So all of my beautiful Capricorn babies, this is a reading that I received for you, and I truly hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Leave a little mountain emoji down below in the comment section to let me and others know that you were here and that you made it to the end, because if you know, you know. Thank you so much for spending this divine time with me, and I'll catch you during one of my upcoming videos. Hello, all my beautiful Aquarius babies, and welcome to the zodiac portion of your prediction. So I want to get straight into it. Just lean back, relax, and enjoy this highly personalized second part to your love story. First up, we have the current opportunities for you. Wow, we have the Sun, which is a highly positive card. All my beautiful Aquarius babies, you're already a very friendly as well as independent person. I can see here in the Sun that a big opportunity for you is to just continue being yourself, to continue making the best of situations. And you are also a very inventive person. So making the best of situations and ensuring that you're not allowing any dark clouds to be in the way of you and your love story is a big part of your success, is a big part of how your love story can play out in your favor. Number 2 stands for any difficulties that you may experience. I can see here in the Chariot that the only kind of difficulty as an Aquarius that you have is definitely to just pick one lane, so to say, as you can be a little bit unpredictable, okay? You can be a little bit all over the place at times because your mind is working so quickly, because you're someone who just has so many great ideas and you're so creative and inventive, it can be hard to align everything to move in one direction. Let's move on to the third field, which stands for available tools for you. I can see here as an available tool that spending time with friends, family, people who you love and care about is a great tool for you to get in alignment and also to be unafraid about your love story and how it's turning out, what direction it's growing into. So do know here in the Three of Cups that a little bit of time just spent with other people, even though you can be rather unemotional and detached as an Aquarius, is truly like medicine. It can truly be just the support that you need in order to get connected or reconnected with your internal self, with your emotional self. Next, we have the Knave of Coins, which is going to go into the fourth field, which stands for any natural advantages that you have. In the Knave of Coins, I can see that you're good with your finances. You know what you can spend and what would be taking things too far. And I definitely also see here in the Knave of Coins that an earth sign such as a Capricorn, a Taurus, or a Virgo can positively affect your journey to love, can positively give input into your love life as well as how you're spending your money. Because as an Aquarius, you can sometimes be a bit too good-natured. You can sometimes be a bit too humanitarian, and by being too humanitarian, of course, you can never be too helpful to others, but sometimes when you're jeopardizing yourself or your own future, your own peace of mind, that is like taking it too far. Let's talk about your divine intervention and wake-up call. We have the Spear. So I can see here in the Spear that a divine intervention for you will be heartache over what you no longer have. So heartache being something that gives you an aha moment, that makes you understand what it's like to love, to lose, to feel like you have to start all over again, but also to understand here that moments are fleeting and life is definitely something that is short and that we should enjoy every moment of. We have the Deer as well as the Key. So in the Deer, I definitely see that your guides are trying to speak to you about being gentle to yourself and understanding that heartache is not something that you wished for or not something that anyone wishes for. But at the same time here with the Key, that the more you understand heartache, how it works, the more you can actually protect your heart moving forward and ensure that before you let someone in, you're 100% sure about them. So I definitely see that your love story journey entails at least one heartbreak, all my beautiful Aquarius babies. So next up we have the letter O as well as F, which are further indicators in your love story about a person's initials. So let's move further into your love story with the sixth field, which corresponds to changes coming your way. So I can see here in the Rado Cross-Site, remembering your worth is a change that's coming your way, all my beautiful Aquarius babies, especially if you've lost your way or if you feel like you have not been valuing yourself as much as you really should along your journey to love. Moving on to the seventh field, we can talk about the potential opportunities for you. And I can see in the Amazonite that a big opportunity for you on your love story journey is to just kind of like let loose, to let other people be just as independent as you are, which shouldn't be too difficult for you. But I do want you to know here in the Amazonite that clinging on to anything too harshly, clinging on to anything is just going to cause further heartache. So if someone wants to leave, if you haven't experienced heartache yet, all my beautiful Aquariuses, and you're like, uh-oh, I am going to have to experience heartache at some point. Like, no, I need to cling on to this person who's in my life even harder because I don't want to experience that. I want you to understand that loosening your grip is so essential, because who is meant to be with you will stay without you having to tighten your grip or hold on to them. And who isn't meant to be in your life is just going to go. as soon as you loosen your grip, and that's okay. I know heartache can be hard and it can feel like you're dying, it can feel like your life is falling apart, but you will get better. All it takes is time and you focusing on yourself, remembering your worth. Let's move on to the 8th field, which stands for new connections. I can see here in the rose quartz, which is the stone of love, that opening your heart is going to create new connections and is going to bring new lovers, new potential people to be with into your life, but you have to be open to it, especially if you've been hurt before. You can, of course, start to feel like there's no point in love. You may start to feel like being closed off is better than being open, because being open can lead to hurt. But do know here that it's important for you to not become callous, to not allow like one negative experience or one heartache to cause you to never open up your heart again. Let's move on to the 9th field, all my beautiful Aquarius babies, which stands for new focal points in your life. I can see here in the violet that a new focal point is to find your calmness, to find your centeredness, to find tranquility within your life and your relationships, rather than being in anything that's stressful. That's not a part of your love story. Last but not least, let's talk about the outcome of your love story. We have the geranium, so I can see that being with someone who's healing, that is the outcome of your love story. All my beautiful Aquarius babies, being with someone who makes you feel like every day you're a little bit more healed, you're in a little bit of a better place with yourself, with them, with love in general, and you're just a little closer to your highest self. So all of my beautiful Aquarius babies, this is the reading that I received for you. I truly hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Make sure that you leave a little horse emoji down below in the comment section to let me and others know that you made it to the end of your reading. Thank you for spending this divine time and space with me, and I'll catch you during one of my upcoming readings. Hello, all of my Pisces babies, and welcome to the part of your love story prediction that is meant just for you. So let's move into your reading, starting off here with the first field on my divine guidance board, so we can figure out exactly what current opportunities are here in your love life. So first up, we have the waning gibbous 6. So in the waning gibbous 6, I can see that a current opportunity for all of my Pisces is to use the knowledge that you have, is to use the wisdom that you have gathered, and to not be easily led, okay? To not allow people to kind of talk you into a situation. I can see that your love story has a lot of kind of like difficult situation, difficult indents because of you believing others and because of you being so compassionate and kind. But it is important for you to remember that this planet has a lot of people who aren't ready for real commitment, who may hurt you, and to discern who those people may be before you trust them, right? So use any data that you have from past relationships or past hurt to help you discern between who is trustworthy and who isn't. Moving on to the second field, we have the blue moon. So I can see here in the blue moon that what may cause a little bit of anxiety is just that there is so much unexpected ahead in your love journey. And this is something that I want you to be kind of like sensitive about and intuitive about. And this is something where you can benefit from being intuitive as a Pisces. You are super connected to your intuition. You're someone who can feel things coming before they have actually transpired. So do know here in the blue moon that expecting the unexpected can definitely be a little bit anxiety invoking, but at the same time, with the unexpected come unexpected great opportunities for your love story. So don't be afraid because you don't know what the future holds, or you don't know whether there will be a happy ending for sure. Just know here that with the unexpected also comes unexpected bounty and unexpected abundance. Let's move on to the third field, which speaks of your available tools that you may have not been aware of up until this point. We have the full moon, which stands for your power. All of my Pisces babies, you're underestimating how powerful that you truly are. That is one thing that I see here in the full moon in conjunction to the third field. And it's important for you to take back your personal power if you feel like you have given that up or you have allowed that to slip away. Know here that you are more powerful than you give yourself credit for. Let's move on to the fourth field, which stands for your natural advantages. I can see here in the waning crescent 4 that a big natural advantage for you is just how sympathetic you are, and also how selfless you can be. How selfless you are when it comes to kind of giving up time, giving up money, just giving up a part of yourself for other people. And I can see here that for your love story, this is definitely something that serves you, because you can attract a really amazing partner who does the same thing. But it's important that you insist that your partner is the same way, right? If not, it's just going to be a love story of inequality, which is of course not something that you can thrive in. So ensure here that you're not lowering your standards for anyone or due to anything. I definitely want you to understand in the waning crescent 4 that a natural advantage is just how loving and caring that you are, and you deserve the same on your journey to love, in your love story, all my beautiful Pisces, but you control that. Next up in the frying pan, I can see here that a big wake-up call for you is going to be any types of troubles or accusations, being in the hot seat, right? Almost like you're in the frying pan. I can see here that that is going to give you like a huge aha moment. You're going to understand what your love story is meant to entail and what it's not meant to have. I do want you to know here in the frying pan that also kind of like grilling someone and getting the truth out of someone is going to be another big epiphany. So on your journey to love, on your love story, I do want you to know here that being truthful and getting the truth out of people, that is something that is important. That is like a divine intervention that needs to take place. So if you've ever worried about a partner not being faithful or not being truthful, grill them. Continue to put them on the hot seat until you feel like you have the truth. Because I do see here within the anchor, as well as this like ship steering wheel, I forgot what the name was, as well as the heart, that you may stay anchored with someone who isn't steering you in the right direction, right? You may stay anchored in your heart with someone for longer than necessary who is trouble, who is just going to kind of spin it around on you. And that is definitely something that a lot of Pisces, I feel, have to have a divine intervention of. They have to step into their personal power, as we spoke about here in the full moon, and understand that you don't have to be okay with this. You don't have to put up with someone who is maybe unfaithful and then just spins it around on you because of their insecurities and their unfaithfulness. I can see here within this planet that you have to understand here, your opportunities in love are infinite, okay? Your opportunities are endless, but if you constantly stay rooted with the same person, with the same kind of like frying pan, if you will, then it will be hard to access anything other than trouble, anything other than fights and arguments. Let's move a little further into your reading with some letters. We have the letter E as well as the letter R, so let that be an indication about a healthy relationship, initials of someone who you are truly meant to be with. Next up, let's move on to the sixth field. The sixth field stands for changes that are coming your way, all my beautiful Pisces, in your love story. So we have the time. In the time, I can see courage. I can see that being a change that's coming your way on your path to love, being more courageous to kind of like put someone in the hot seat who you feel isn't being truthful, but also to walk away from someone who seems to just always have accusations or always kind of be looking for trouble, always looking for something that isn't perfect or isn't good enough about the relationship or of you. You don't deserve that, and that is a part of your love story that's going to come to you as an epiphany, as a realization where you're like, hey, I don't got to put up with this. I'm going to completely move on while stepping into my personal power. I deserve someone who gives me reciprocity, who gives me just as much of that compassionate, kind, and loving energy as I give them. Moving on to the 7th field, we have your potential opportunities. I can see here within the Kent pumpkin that a big opportunity for you is to just kind of like be productive and also proactive about your love story, not just like sitting back and saying, well, love will happen whenever, but actually being proactive with weeding out people who aren't healthy for you and being productive and courageous when looking for furtherment in your love story, so to say, when looking for love. And by being productive, I mean actually looking for little niches and places where you can meet someone who is appropriate for you, where you can meet someone who understands you and who will value you. Next up, we have the Marjoram. So Marjoram coming into the 8th field stands for a new connection. So I can see that any new connection in your love life moving forward, in your love story, is going to bring happiness and is going to bring positivity for you, which is exactly what we need for all my beautiful Pisces, because you being with toxic people, it's a bad combo. As a Pisces, you can be someone who is kind of like easily led, okay, who can be influenced very strongly by their romantic partners. So it is essential that you get this right. It's essential that your love story plays out with someone who is healthy, someone who actually cares about you just as much as you care about them. For the 9th field, let's talk about new focal points. We have the Sunstone. I can see here that your love story is going to turn into you taking pleasure in everything that you do and not letting any type of party pooper partner come between you and your happiness. Sunstone definitely shows me here that having fun is a big part of your love story, as well as not feeling embarrassed about that, not feeling bad for having fun, and just leading an awesome life, not feeling like you have to keep your accomplishments hidden in order to not intimidate a partner. Okay, that is not a part of your love story. You're meant to explore and party and have fun and show people what you're capable of. Be proud of your accomplishments. So last but not least, we have the 10th field right here, which corresponds to the outcome of your love life. So let's figure out exactly what that is. I can see here in the lapis lazuli that as a final bit of information about your love story, I can definitely see here that you will find that whenever you make a decision for yourself, this is something that pushes you forward. Letting love just be something that happens or comes to you may work for some, but I see that as a Pisces, being proactive, making decisions, deciding what you want, what you don't want is very important. As you are someone who is very selfless, you're someone who's very intuitive. So you making decisions and calling the shots, stepping into your personal power, it is important for you to be the decision maker. And I see that the outcome in your love story is for you to be the one wearing the pants in the relationship. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a conservative saying, but I think you get what that means. You being the one who makes a lot of the decisions intuitively and who also is not with someone who is trying to make them smaller, but you're with someone who uplifts you. You're with someone who doesn't engage in any type of like arguments just to argue, but you come to this epiphany that that doesn't need to be, and it's not something that you deserve, and you're deciding to be happy. You're deciding to take pleasure in everything, and for your love story to play out with someone who is on the same path, on the same journey, and feels the same way, who practices what they preach. So all of my beautiful Pisces babies, this is the reading that I received for you. I truly hope that you enjoyed it, that you found it insightful. Leave a little planet emoji down below in the comment section to let me and others know that you were here and that you received your reading, that you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for spending this divine time and space with me, and I'll catch you during one of my upcoming videos.